Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to a special World of Warcraft stream that I've been excited to do, like all day basically, where I'm wanting to do a bunch of questing and Sholazar Basin in this episode, but it is also the first day of Blizzcon, and there was a lot of stuff announced in this Blizzcon that I kind of want to spend the next few hours just talking about, because there's a lot to talk about. And I just recorded part of a Let's Play episode for my World of Warcraft series where I just talked about it a lot, so I'm like ramped up and I'm ready to go. But of course I am wanting to do quite a bit of stuff in the world of Azeroth in this episode that we can talk about. And there's actually an event going on right now in Delarian because somebody turned in the Algalon kill reward, so there's just a bunch of like talking going on, and then this like statue thing lit up, and the sky is all special like magic, like spacey. But anyways, in this episode I want to explore the next zone in Northrend on this character, where I've been playing this character quite a bit on stream, and I've been progressing through. I started progressing through Outland, and then I am progressing through Northrend now, where I did a lot of stuff in Howling Fjord, and then Dragonblight, and then Grizzly Hills, and then Zuldrak, and I did a little bit of stuff off stream in Boring Tundra, but we'll go ahead and check out Boring Tundra on probably another character, and then we'll come and do these three zones on this character, where I'm wanting to start over here in Sholazar Basin, so we can start this whole thing. Happy birthday. Thank you. I've been having a good day. Thanks for tuning in. But let's go ahead and head over to Sholazar Basin, and I can just explain how this zone starts, and we can explore it a little bit, and then I really just want to spend like a few hours honestly just talking about BlizzCon, because there was so much stuff announced today, where BlizzCon is always like a fun time because it always happens like on my birthday or like right next to my birthday. So it happened like on my birthday this year, at least the first day, which is like the more important day because they have the opening ceremony where they announce everything. Let's go ahead and fly to Sholazar Basin really quickly, where we have like all these zones in Northrend that I was talking about, I think last time I streamed, or like 2 streams ago, where all the zones are like similar to each other, but like still like distinct, but like still similar to each other, where Sholazar Basin is like really unique compared to like all the other zones here in like the Northrend, where actually Northrend was talked about in BlizzCon today, which we can talk about. But basically we're just finding Heminescenary, and we have this beautiful zone with this rainbow here, and then we have some Ventricle people just shooting us down, and this is just like a really fun quest chain and like a bunch of quests that are like connected to it, where we will work with Heminescenary, and this is the 3rd time that we have a Heminescenary quest chain in this game. And this is the most fun of the 3 in my opinion. I think the original one in Stranglethorn Vale was a lot of fun, and then Outlands was kind of like okay, but this one has like a lot of stuff going on in it, where like we just crashed and whatnot, and then this person crashed, and there's just some like fun different quests that we'll do, and I'll kind of just point them out. But yeah, BlizzCon happening today on my birthday, and it's going on tomorrow as well. So it's kind of like the 2nd day of my birthday, I guess, where there's a lot of stuff announced at BlizzCon today. I guess I will go into Retail WoW first, where they announced a very interesting thing that a lot of people have a lot of ideas and like discussions about already, about what it means for like the future of like World of Warcraft, like the modern day version of World of Warcraft. Of course, I'm playing through what is now like 2009, 2010 World of Warcraft, where this zone specifically was released in like 2008. But they announced a new like idea called the Worldsoul Saga, which was giving me some Guild Wars 2 flashbacks about the potential for this being bad when it comes to like content releases and like cadences and whatnot. But so far it seems really cool, where basically there are a lot of like major stories going on in World of Warcraft right now that I think they kind of just want to wrap up, because they've been working on it for like 10-15 years, and I think they mostly just want to move on to like new ideas like after all this stuff. So they're basically just going to wrap up all of the storylines, where they announced, for the first time ever they've done this, they've announced 3 expansions. Normally, with how like BlizzCons work, with like BlizzCon in 2008, we had like the Burning Crusade announced, or Wrath Lich King announced, or whatever. or was it 2007? Anyways, they announced that, and then the next year they kind of just like showcased some stuff coming into the game, and then the next year they announced the new expansion, and then it kind of alternates like every other year. We get an expansion announcement, which is still going to be the case, but they announced 3 expansions this year, and kind of like a quick summary of like the story and like where we're going in that expansion, or in each expansion, and then they dive deep into the first expansion, the upcoming expansion, where the cinematic trailer for that expansion for me was like absolutely incredible, with like Thrall and Anduin. It's a very interesting cinematic trailer, because it's the first one that I guess you could kind of classify as maybe boring. Dang, the version you're playing is older than me. I started playing this game in 2008, so it's a bit of an old game. It released in 2004 originally, but they've added on to it a lot. But the first expansion, which I think is like releasing like mid to late next year or whatever, seems pretty cool. They had like the trailer for it, and then they had a cinematic trailer as well. And it just seems like, you know, some like decently cool content for people who enjoy retail, which of course isn't like my current favorite thing in the game or in the world. But I played like a little bit of retail recently, and I kind of enjoyed it enough. I was playing some Battle for Azeroth, and I was actually kind of enjoying like the storyline and like the gameplay going on there. Where I played Shadowlands a long time ago, like a year ago, and I wasn't enjoying it too much. But it seems like Dragonflight is good, and this upcoming expansion seemed good, and I'm actually kind of tempted to play it, but I'm probably not, because of everything else that was announced, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, it's just cool to see that retail is still getting a lot of love. Because World of Warcraft, originally released, like I just said, in 2004. If you check the calendar, it's almost 2024, so World of Warcraft is turning 20 years old next year, and it's really cool and kind of unique to see a live service game last that long. Of course, World of Warcraft is like one of the most like important games in like gaming, like pop culture or whatever, that's like been released. More so in like the like around 2010, I guess. I think that was like more in like the mainstream media and like news outlets talking about like World of Warcraft addiction and stuff like that. But overall, the new expansion seems cool, and it's taking place like there's like 4 new zones, where the first zone is like an island and like southwest of the Maelstrom, which is like the center of the map here. So it takes place like right here, I think, where I'm circling, where this like circle is actually, I think. Maybe that's some foreshadowing. But basically, it's an island, and then there's 3 more zones that basically progressively get deeper and deeper towards like the core of like the planet that we're on right now. Which of course, the planet we're on is like, the lore is like a little weird, but it's like basically like a living like creature, kind of, where there is like a titan, what's the word, titan core or whatever, where it's basically like a baby giant titan god that the other titans were basically like birthed or whatever, and has been growing for a very long time. But the other 2 expansions also seem cool, and they seem a lot cooler than the one that was announced today, at least in my opinion. Where the second expansion is related to the Void, I believe, and it is actually us returning to an old part of the world. We're returning to like northern eastern kingdoms, and we're going to have like new zones up there, mostly in the kingdom of Quothalos, which is really interesting, because we've never seen this like specifically with a World of Warcraft expansion, where throughout the years we have returned to zones. Like we've had and like Battle for Azeroth, we had the Ashenvale Warfront, or the Darkshore Warfront, excuse me, and then we had like the Arathi Highlands Warfront. So we've like seen us going back to like parts of the world and kind of like doing some new stuff there, but it's never been like the main feature of an expansion. Where the second expansion that's released, we're returning to Quothalos, and there's going to be stuff going on with the Void. So we're going to see Quothalos, which was originally released to us in 2007. We're going to see what's happened to it over like 16 years or whatever the math is. By that time it will be 18 years, I guess, because it will release in like, I guess, 3 years. because the next expansion is releasing in a year, and then it'll be like 2 years after. But we're going to explore all the zones, and I think that seems really, really cool to me, because like I kind of want to go back to Quel'Tha Lost. I think it'll be cool. I think some people will probably be a little upset because it's kind of like reusing like a part of the road. But for me, they have like added so many new continents on, like, I guess islands, which are the size of continents, to the game, that it's really made like the roadmap just kind of like bloated, I guess. Where I think it's good to return to parts of the road that we've already explored, but to have it be like an evolved version of it, like, you know, that part of the world 20 years later compared to when we originally released it. And I think it'll be like new and interesting enough. And of course, it's not, you know, Quel'Tha Lost in 2026 is going to look completely different, like graphics wise, as it did all the way back in 2007. So I'm excited for that expansion, where if I don't play through this expansion, I'll probably play through the next one. And if I don't play through the next one, I'm like 99% sure I'm just going to play through the third expansion that they teased at, which is going to be related to the Titan Soul, which is basically kind of like the story that World of Warcraft has been working towards for a very long time, especially in Legion and Battle for Azeroth. But it's returning to where we are right now, actually playing the game right now, where we are currently in Northrend, which is this continent in the north, and we are going to be returning to here, where this was originally released in 2008, and then whenever that expansion releases, 2028, so like the 20-year anniversary, I guess, we'll be re-exploring this entire continent, but how it has changed, where of course there is a lot of story going on in this expansion with the Scourge and the Lich King and Arthas, and that story has definitely changed a little bit over the years, where Shadowlands, which is kind of a lot of people will say it is the single worst expansion ever released for World of Warcraft. And based off my limited experiences with expansions after Mist of Pandaria, I would say yes, that is true. Which has kind of like changed how like the Scourge work in Northrend, and I think they're like mostly not a threat anymore, but we'll still see like a little bit of that story going on here, of course. And then we'll see like an evolution of like the Alliance and Horde like forces on Northrend, because of course we have like all these landing like crews and like forces and militaries that landed on Northrend and built up all these outposts and like harvested the resources of Northrend in order to build these outposts and to like fuel the like war machine against like the Scourge. And then we also have like Blue Dragonflight storylines, where there's been a lot of stories going on with Kalecgos, who is a replacement for Malygos. He was like the leader of the Blue Dragonflight, so we have like that whole new leader. And then we have Wyrmrest Temple as well, where with like the current expansion and Dragonflight, there's a lot of stuff going on with the dragon aspects and like other dragon stuff. So I'm sure we'll see some stuff connected to that in that expansion. And then mostly we're going to be looking at stuff potentially with like the old gods, which are like all dead. But we know in the first expansion that was announced and went into like a lot of details at Blizzcon, that there is a lot of like corruption from the old gods with like their blood that is going to be playing a relevant part in this expansion. And I'm sure we'll see that in this third expansion. But it's mostly going to be focused on like the Titans, of course, because the expansion name is The Last Titan, which is kind of interesting to think about, because there's like 8 Titans or something. But we'll see everything that's announced for like those 2 expansions in the future. But I'm definitely excited for like a return to Northrend, because I think out of every single expansion that's been released, and of course I've had limited time playing expansions, as I said, after Mist of Pandaria, I think Wrath of the Lich King, the expansion that I'm playing right now, is my favorite version of World of Warcraft, other than maybe vanilla World of Warcraft, which I've kind of fallen more in love with in the past like few years compared to like the later versions of the game, as I've re-experienced vanilla and then re-experienced like the Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. I think my opinions have changed a little bit compared to like before like the classic WoW released. But I think like as far as expansions go, Wrath of the Lich King is definitely my favorite. But yeah, 3 new expansions announced, which to go into like some speculation about like the long-term future of World of Warcraft, I've seen some people thinking that this is basically setting up the end of World of Warcraft, which is really interesting to think about. Where I talked just a moment ago that these 3 expansions are really focusing on some story in the game that they kind of just want to probably just want to finish up because they've been working on it for a long time. Stuff to do with the Void, stuff to do with like the Titans, and like so on and so forth. Some of those like cosmic storylines, and I think they're really going to focus on these 3 expansions tied together as like part of the Worldsoul Saga, as they've coined the term, to basically just like finish up all these storylines. And what people are thinking is that as these 3 expansions happen, and they might be very flexible with like the release dates for this expansion, because a lot of people are speculating that there is like a new team, or like a good chunk of like the World of Warcraft team is working on World of Warcraft 2, which honestly makes a lot of sense for me, because World of Warcraft is a 20-year-old game where it has 20 years of like gameplay evolutions and systems and new zones added onto it, and it is a very bloated game, and it is a very probably difficult game to like work with because of how many systems exist in the game when it comes to like developing new systems and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's like a nightmare to work on because the engine or whatever is like 20 years old. Or I'm sure they just want like a fresh start. And I think with the reintroduction of Chris Metzen, who we saw at Blizzcon, and actually teared up a little bit when he like came out, because he was a big part of the Warcraft universe with like the first 3 Warcraft games, and then into World of Warcraft, and then he quit, and we got, I'm not going to blame it on anybody, but after he quit, we got, you know, Battle for Azeroth and Shadowlands, which a lot of people hate the story of those expansions, but that's unrelated, I suppose. But he's back now, and I think if we were to do some like crazy speculation, I'm like kind of on the train that these 3 expansions are finishing up like the stories that they want to tell with World of Warcraft, and basically setting the foundation for a second MMORPG in the Warcraft universe to take place as like a fresh start for like the franchise, where they can take like all the lessons they've learned from like World of Warcraft over the years and make it into like a whole brand new game with like a whole new story, like 30 years in the future potentially, and then probably a lot more like aggressive microtransactions, which is unfortunate, but I guess that's the reality of the future, and it depends on whether or not people actually pay for them, I suppose. But of course, this is all like speculation, so we might just have these 3 expansions and then 4th expansions announced afterwards, or we could go into World of Warcraft 2, or maybe they'll just go all the way back to classic World of Warcraft and focus on all of that. So we'll only see what happens like 6 years down the line in the future. But overall, these 3 expansions seem pretty cool, and I am excited to see how it unfolds, even if I don't play them. But I'm like a little tempted to play the first one, more tempted to play the second one, and I'm very tempted to play the third one, depending on like what's announced, of course. But that is only retail World of Warcraft news that was released at BlizzCon today, where there is a lot of stuff going on with classic World of Warcraft, where they announced 3 expansions for retail, and they really only like dive deep into like the first one, because they'll dive deep into the next one in 2 years. But when it comes to classic World of Warcraft, they announced 3 things as well. Where the first thing is they announced Cataclysm Classic, which we are in Wrath of Lich King Classic right now, which is the 2nd expansion to World of Warcraft. And then like a year ago, we played the Burning Crusade Classic, which was the 1st expansion, and then after the Burning Crusade Classic, we moved forward to Wrath of Lich King, and we are seeing that again with the 3rd expansion, where we are moving forward to Cataclysm, which is kind of controversial. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are excited to play it, but I see a lot of people that just are not interested in Cataclysm Classic at all. And I think I'm definitely going to play it a little bit. I might set up like a Worgen Druid maybe. I might get some heirlooms ready to go in Wrath of Lich King and kind of just like blast through leveling in Cataclysm and just get to 85 and maybe do a few dungeons, but probably not played nearly as much as I played Wrath of the Lich King and I guess the Burning Crusade as well, and Vanilla as well. And after Cataclysm Classic, I suppose we'll see the 4th expansion for World of Warcraft come to Classic WoW, which is Mists of Pandaria, which is when I quit the game because I was not enjoying World of Warcraft anymore in Mists of Pandaria, starting with Cataclysm. Cataclysm, a lot of people say was the beginning of the end, and for me, it was kind of the beginning of the end for my enjoyment. And maybe it'll be different casually playing it like a second time around, but I don't think I'm going to enjoy it a lot. But that's okay, and hopefully people who want to play Cataclysm Classic have a very fun time with that. But that also brings up like the question of like, when does Classic World of Warcraft end? Because a lot of people view like the concept of Classic to be a trilogy where you have Vanilla and then the first 2 expansions to the game, and that's what a lot of people consider Classic, where Cataclysm is like the start of the modern version of World of Warcraft for a lot of people. But we're getting Cataclysm, and then, you know, supposedly we'll get Mists of Pandaria afterwards, and then carrying forward to Warlords of Draenor, to Legion, to Battle for Azeroth, to Dragonflight, to the new 3 expansions, and the Worldsoul Saga. Did I miss one there? I don't think I did. So like, when are they going to stop doing like Classic World of Warcraft and just have it feed into retail, or just like stop developing it and just have whatever expansion they finish on to be like a permanent like version of the game that people can play? It's just like kind of interesting to think about, because Classic World of Warcraft is releasing at a faster cadence, which they talked about with Cataclysm, because one of the biggest issues with Cataclysm was the release cadence for the different updates, where specifically the final major patch for Cataclysm lasted 16 months, I believe is the number, before Mists of Pandaria released, which a lot of people do not want to play a raid on like a content area for 16 months. Where, you know, in modern day World of Warcraft, we kind of see those patches last like 2 to 3 months. I have to aim this here. So with Classic Cataclysm, we're not going to be waiting that long for Mists of Pandaria. We're probably just going to go like straight into Mists of Pandaria after Cataclysm, the final patch of Cataclysm happens. Which means if we keep up this cadence over the years, we will eventually catch up to retail World of Warcraft probably. Which, you know, maybe we'll have like the 3rd expansion in the saga that is coming up as like the modern expansion, and then maybe we'll be right behind it playing the 2nd expansion in Classic World of Warcraft, which is not really classic because, you know, it's the content that released a year ago. But that's just something interesting to think about, and I just wonder when they're going to stop with like this whole classic thing, because on one hand, I was expecting it to end with the Wrath of Lich King, because one, I would love to have a permanent version of this game, which unfortunately, and to my supreme disappointment, I do not think we're going to have a permanent version of Wrath of Lich King, just like we did not get a permanent version of the Burning Crusade. But that's what a lot of people thought would happen. We just get a permanent version of that. That is not happening, so we'll just see what happens to the future of Classic expansions. But that's the first thing announced for Classic. Where the second thing is they announced a new rule set for Hardcore World of Warcraft, where I've been playing quite a bit of Hardcore, and I actually had my first death yesterday, I think, or was it 2 days ago, where I died on like a level 14 Orc Rogue, which was unfortunate. My first ever death. I haven't played like too much, but I played on stream, like 4 streams now, and I want to play it more, of course. But they're announcing a new rule set, which is like an optional rule set. Where in Hardcore, if you die, you have to delete your character. That's how that works. Where this new rule set is like the same exact thing, but you can no longer trade with other people, and you can't use the auction house and some other things, which a lot of people really wanted to have this be like at the original release of Hardcore, but a lot of people didn't want it. So now they're giving the best of both worlds and allowing an option for both people, where presumably people who are playing, I believe they're calling it self-made hardcore, will have like a buff on them showing that they're self-made, and it'll be really cool, potentially because like we had a mock raw tournament that was a $100,000 tournament for this 20-year-old game, where 64 people duel to the death, so like 63, technically like 62 I think people died. I think one person like got disqualified or something. But there was a lot of controversy with that tournament because basically the people that did the best in that tournament were streamers who have a fan base of people just giving them money and like safeguarding them in the world and stuff like that, where this will limit the power of streamers, I suppose, when it comes to tournaments, which might be good for some people, and then a lot of other people just don't care. But I think it'll be like a fun rule set to play through, and honestly it might be how I play the game as well, because I don't really care too much about like the trading post, and I don't really trade with my other characters, I guess, so it'll be just fun to play through, and a lot of people wanted it, so it's good that those people get what they want. But then the third thing that was announced, so we have news about hardcore WoW, and then we have news about the next like expansion for classic WoW. They announced basically Classic Plus, which is really funny for like community issues I'll go into in a moment, but it's really cool that they've announced Classic Plus, which is basically taking the vanilla version of the game and then adding a new version that you can play that is changing how vanilla was, but in the spirit of like the type of content and the type of gameplay that exists in vanilla World of Warcraft. So they did something called Season of Mastery like a few years ago, where basically it was exactly what I said, where it was a new version of vanilla World of Warcraft that people could play for a 1-year period, I think, and it allowed you to progress through the game on like fresh servers, so there's like no economy, everyone started at level 1, no one had like a head start or whatever, and then the different raid tiers and like the loot you get from those raid tiers like slowly released over like a 2-month cadence, so people could progress through the game in a sped up like version of like authentic vanilla World of Warcraft like release cadences and development that we saw all the way back in like 2004 to 2007 with the original vanilla like era of the game. And it was vanilla, but they did changes where they changed a lot of numbers in the Season of Mastery, where they changed like experience gain for like different quests, and they changed most importantly it was basically how a lot of boss fights and the raids worked, where to summarize, they basically made all the raids more difficult, which people who raided through classic Seasons of Mastery really loved what they did with raiding in that season, where they made it actually like a pretty decent challenge, where we had the vanilla version of the game that people were like, oh, this is so hard, and then it's not hard at all, because of how gaming communities are nowadays and how much knowledge you have of the game, and then just like the fact that overall the older versions of World of Warcraft are not super challenging compared to like newer versions of World of Warcraft when it comes to like raid progression and stuff and like mechanics and stuff like that, which, you know, that's kind of just like a truth. Even if I don't enjoy like the newer content that much, that's just kind of like how it is. The older version of the game is pretty easy, but they made the raids harder, and people really enjoyed that, and people were expecting like a new season to happen, and we got the new season, which I think is a really interesting concept, because I think they're kind of like just testing things out with changing like World of Warcraft, where I think we're going to have many different seasons over maybe the next decade or whatever that is just doing like wildly different things, and then maybe we'll see like an official version of like Classic Plus that might lead to like a lot more content, and then like maybe like a whole new expansion or something like that. But to focus on the new season specifically, it's called the Season of Discovery, which straight off the bat is something that is super cool sounding to me, because I'm someone who really values like exploration and discovery in games, and they are doing a lot of stuff with this season, where basically they're doing, I forget what the technical term is, but they're releasing, or like they're updating the game over time to basically be like it was in vanilla World of Warcraft as well, and like we saw with Season of Mastery, but they're doing it more so, where when the season originally begins, the maximum level that you can reach is level 25 instead of level 60, which is something we see with special servers that I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube or not, like the specific actual name. But we see that with like those servers where they basically have the level cap be low and put in like some in-game content, quote unquote, for that specific level bracket, where people can like really kind of dive deep into what the game is like at that level. Because most of the time when you reach level 25, you progress to level 26 and then so on and so forth. And a lot of people don't think about like the builds you make at like level 25 and the gear you can get at level 25 for like optimizing the game. So this is like a really cool way where they add in like a whole new layer to like gameplay in World of Warcraft, where there's going to be a lot of like work done by the community on like gearing like level 25 characters to like be as strong as they are, and like build crafting for level 25 characters to be like as strong as they are, and we're going to see a lot of stuff happen with that. Where with level 25, they're doing another cool thing where there's like 20 things happening with like this season, where they are releasing a 10-man raid that level 25 players can do, which, first of all, 10-man raid in vanilla WoW is something that we kind of see, but it's not really something that a lot of people think about, where there are basically only, I think, 2 raids in vanilla, or like people mostly consider them dungeons, but like 2 raids in vanilla WoW that are 10-man pieces of content, and that is Upper Blackrock Spire and Lower Blackrock Spire. And then when the game originally released, I believe you saw it with Strathholm and Scholomance as well, but those got changed to 5-player content at some point in vanilla World of Warcraft, I forget when. But we're seeing a 10-player raid for level 25 players, which normally when we talk about raiding, we think about it at level 60. So this is like a raid that is available for people who are not max level, which is super, super cool. And it's like 10-player content, which is cool. So it's like a fourth of the normal map that you see with like traditional raiding in vanilla World of Warcraft. And then it's taking place in an updated version of Black Fathom Deeps, which is like the level 22 to like 28 dungeon or whatever in World of Warcraft, located in Ashenvale, which is actually a lot of stuff going on with Ashenvale now that I think about it, where we have this dungeon that is being turned into a raid, which is super cool. And I'm not like a big raid person, but I might try to like get into a group at level 25 and like go do this raid and stuff. But yeah, and with that they announced 3 more raids that are going to be coming to the game, and I'm trying to remember all of them. I think one is like Nomergon or something, or is that the new Warcraft Rumble thing? But one of them is Scarlet Monastery, which you might see at like level 45, so we might have the level cap race like 45 or something. And then one of them is really, really cool because it is a new piece of content that we have not seen in World of Warcraft, including in vanilla World of Warcraft. So it's like brand new content in the vanilla style, released, you know, in like vanilla World of Warcraft with like vanilla balancing on the vanilla world and stuff like that. But new content that wasn't originally there in vanilla World of Warcraft. And it's the Karazhan Crypts, which a lot of people have been really wanting to explore, and they announced that. And with that, they also announced that they will add more stuff like that, which opens up a whole world of possibilities that people have been talking a lot about with that Classic Plus, because there's a lot of stuff that they could potentially do with this, with areas in the vanilla version of World of Warcraft, where we have like places we see in like Cataclysm with like Hydro and Odum and like the east of the wetlands and stuff like that. It's like Twilight Highlands and retail, but it might be called something different in like a vanilla version of it. and there's just like a lot of different places that they could go, and like Quel'Thalas, for example, and there's just like a lot of different raids they could add, dungeons they could add, open world zones, leveling zones, in-game zones, new questing and stuff they could add. And this is just opening up the possibility for that. Where presumably the first piece of that new content we'll get is the Karazhan Crypts at level 60. But we also see, technically a revamped Black Fathom Deeps is also new content, which people are really excited for. But that is only part of what is happening with the Season of Discovery, which that's a lot, and that's only a part of it, which is insane. Where the next big thing, where I just had this revelation about how much of a focus that this new season is putting on the zone of Ashenvale, because we have Black Fathom Deeps in Ashenvale, but they are also turning Ashenvale into an open world PvP battleground, which is really, really cool, because I loved open world PvP way back in the day, and then it was completely ruined in the classic re-release of the game for me because of how the community is. Because basically 99% of open world PvP in modern day classic World of Warcraft, and probably retail World of Warcraft if people play the PvP open world version, there's a toggle or something. But anyways, 99% of open world PvP is just high level players ganking and instantly killing low level players, which is not fun for low level players, and I don't see any way that it would be fun for high level players, but it apparently happens. And that was my biggest frustration with vanilla way back in the day, because I reached level 52 before phase 2 released, and then I was killed endlessly and spawn camped for months. And then whenever I've played on a PvP server since then, I've had the same issues, and I see had a cough there, and I see posts by people all the time talking about how horrible it is, especially in vanilla apparently, where I do not play on PvP servers anymore. But I think this will be a really cool system that might be only relevant for a short period of time. Where basically they're turning Ashenvale into Alterac Valley, where there's going to be 2 major bosses in the map, one for the Alliance and one for the Horde. And basically, if the Horde kills the opposite leader, they get a bunch of rewards or whatever, a buff or something, I forget. But there's also smaller bosses spread throughout Ashenvale that you can fight in order to remove buffs from the main leader. So just like in Alterac Valley, there are 4 towers or bunkers for each faction in Alterac Valley, and as you destroy each one or kill the leader associated to that tower or bunker, you make the final boss weaker for you to fight. So it's basically kind of the same thing, but in open world PvP and in Ashenvale, where presumably, when this content originally releases, most of the people playing that are going to be level 25, and then this might be something we see happen as the game evolves and the level cap is increased, but we'll probably mostly see this at level 25, and then probably not too much after that. But I'm really excited for just open world PvP to exist in a way that is fun, I guess, which we haven't seen in a very long time. At least I think it's going to be fun, but it, of course it always has the potential to not be fun, and we'll see if that happens. Where I think that's the Season of Discovery as a whole, where it seems really, really fun, and I'm super excited for this, but we'll see if it's actually good or not.
What's on your mind? Be good.
But yeah, so we have the progression, and then we have the new raids, and then we have the new PvP area, where the last big thing that is being added is basically new skills, where I think they're called runes, where you can get runes from different locations around the world, and these locations are not going to be known to the community. So we have all this build crafting and theory crafting and stuff when it comes to what's the best gear at level 25 for raiding at level 25 and stuff like that. But we now have this whole new like community thing that is not going to last a very long time, but it's going to be cool for like the first week, and I'm excited for that first week, where there's going to be all these runes around the world that nobody knows where they're located, and we're going to see people basically like talking to each other and figuring out where all these runes are, and we're going to have like all this discovery, you know, like the aptly named Season of Discovery happening, where we find and unlock like all these runes. And basically when you get a rune, you can attach them to different pieces of your armor. So like you have a specific rune that could be attached to like your like chest plate, for example, and then that rune will unlock a brand new ability for your like class. And there is a lot of stuff going on with this, where we see a lot of skills from retail World of Warcraft and like later expansions like Wrath Lich King are being added to classes in vanilla, which a lot of people have talked about, and you know, some people really want. And then we have some brand new skills being added as well, which I don't think exist in any part of the game, which is super cool. But something that is like coming from this is basically like brand new playstyles that exist for these different classes, which I'm sure a lot of retail WoW players are going to be very frustrated by this, because we are going to see new playstyles that people have been asking for like 20 years in like the retail version of the game, and we're going to see it here in Classic WoW, where we're going to start seeing things like Shaman tanks and Rogue tanks and Warlock tanks, and we're going to see like Mage healers, and we're going to see Retribution Paladins actually be like a viable option in Vanilla World of Warcraft, where they're a DPS class that exists that is considered like the worst DPS class in Vanilla, I think, and that got changed in future expansions, and we're going to see that change happen in Vanilla. So we're going to see like Retribution Paladins at like the highest end of PvE and PvP, I guess. They've always been pretty good at PvP. They've mostly just struggled in PvE. But we're going to see them at the highest end of PvE in the vanilla version of the game, which is really cool for some players. And of course, all these changes are happening in this like special seasonal servers, where the core like authentic vanilla version of the game is still going to exist in vanilla era, classic era. So people that just want to play through like authentic vanilla will have all of that, which is cool. And then a lot of people, I guess, are just upset from like every single person has like an opinion about what they want from like a Classic Plus version of the game, where it is 100% impossible to make everybody happy. So you kind of just have to pick like the people developing this Classic Plus version of the game. They just have to pick what they think is like the best for the most people, or the best for like their vision and like the overall vision of vanilla World of Warcraft. And we'll see that come out, and then people who enjoy it will play it, and people who don't enjoy it will probably play it anyways, because they probably have some addiction issues with World of Warcraft. But overall, I'm super excited for Classic Plus, where I'm definitely going to be playing it. And I talked about this in the Let's Play audio that I just recorded for the current World of Warcraft Let's Play that I'm working on, where I think I'm going to be wrapping up that Let's Play soon, and we have this new season that's going to be releasing November 30th, and I think I'm going to Let's Play through it, like mostly blind and stuff, and just play through it, and I'm super excited for that.
It's too far away.
But this BlizzCon was just like super stacked, because when we look at Classic itself, we got Cataclysm Classic, which a lot of people were expecting, Classic Plus, which a lot of people were talking about, and then we have some like hardcore, a new hardcore game type as well, which a lot of people were asking for as well. So this is like honestly like the best like Classic like day of announcements that has happened since the original announcement of Classic, where people who are wanting to like progress through the game with like the expansions are getting Cataclysm expansion, and like people who want to play through like Cataclysm content will be able to do that as it was back in the day, which I said, you know, is a little bit of a mixed bag, where there's like some people super excited for that, and some people that like just cannot care less about it. But it's good for the people that want to play through that. And then we have new hardcore options for people who like hardcore WoW, and then, you know, vanilla era always exists for people that want that. And wow, I completed this quest flawlessly. where basically there's like fruit falling from the trees when I pulled the vines, and it drops random fruit, and you need to get like 4 different pieces. You need to get like 2 bananas, 1 orange, and 1 what is it, a papaya? Yeah, papaya. And it's like random. So like I did this quest earlier and I had to pull like 20 vines, but I got it in 4 pulls, so that's great. Anyways, and then we have Classic Plus that is releasing for people that want to play like the vanilla version of the game, but with like new content and like new gameplay changes and stuff like that that are like hopefully authentic to like the feeling of vanilla World of Warcraft, but like just new content in general, similar to what old school RuneScape has done, where they re-released like the original version of RuneScape, where of course there's also the version of RuneScape that has evolved over the years since its original release, but they re-released the original version of it, and then they've added new expansions to old school RuneScape in like the theme of old school RuneScape and how it was back in the day. I forget when it released, 2006 or whatever. So we're starting to see something like that happen with new content being released for Classic WoW in the spirit of Classic WoW, which I'm very excited for. So when it comes to retail, I'm like pretty excited for all of that. From like just seeing how the game evolves perspective, I'm probably not going to play the new expansion. I might, as I've said. And then, you know, it's on the table for the 2nd and 3rd expansion that they've announced, because they seem like pretty interesting for me, especially the 3rd one. And then we'll see what happens to retail World of Warcraft and World of Warcraft, the Warcraft franchise as a whole, as this saga concludes. And then when it comes to Cataclysm Classic, I'll probably play it a little bit, but not a lot. And then Hardcore, you know, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to be playing that. That might be the main way I play Hardcore. We'll see. And then Classic Plus, I am 100% excited for, and I'm super hyped for this. And I have to wait like 3 weeks for it to release and for me to be able to play through it. But that's also a good thing, because I'm wanting to finish up my current World of Warcraft Let's Play series, so I'll be working on that. So I'm probably going to be doing a lot of World of Warcraft stuff in the future, because there's just a lot of stuff that I want to play, I guess, right now. And we'll see how I feel, you know, in a year, I guess, after all this happens. Yeah, big day for World of Warcraft at Blizzcon. Of course, I had the Hearthstone and the Warcraft Rumble stuff that they released. And then for like other IPs, like Blizzard IPs, there's just not a lot announced. Where we had all that stuff for Warcraft, so it was a big day for Warcraft. And then Overwatch, the World Cup is going on, which is cool. I've been watching that. And then they announced a new hero, which the hero's cool, but I don't play Overwatch anymore. And they didn't have like a big cinematic for Overwatch. And then Diablo, they talked a lot about like the new season they're releasing, and then they gave a teaser for the new Diablo 4 expansion. And then nothing more going on there. And then that's kind of where the news ends, where they didn't announce anything for StarCraft to my knowledge, nothing for Heroes of the Storm. And they allegedly, Blizzard has been working on a brand new IP, where Overwatch was like the first IP in like 20 years or something. They've been working on a brand new one, and it's like a survival type game, so like a game like Minecraft basically, or Grounded, but their own take on it. Which we see Blizzard likes to do that, where like Overwatch is Blizzard's first person shooter, Hearthstone is Blizzard's card game, World of Warcraft is Blizzard's MMO. We had Warcraft Rumble released today, or yesterday, which is, you know, Blizzard's take on the like Clash Royale genre, whatever that genre is called, the strategy brawler or whatever. It's kind of similar to auto chess, but more active strategy, I guess. Yeah, so overall, for like other IPs, not too much announced at BlizzCon, but for Warcraft fans, they are enjoying life right now with 3 retail expansions and then all the classic news plus the other Warcraft games. Which, when it comes to Wrath of Lich King Classic, I've been playing a lot of Wrath, like in general, but especially recently, because I knew Wrath was on the way out, and I was really hoping we would have like a permanent version of Wrath Lich King, but that does not seem to be what is going to happen, which is unfortunate because I really wanted like a permanent version to exist so I could always return to Wrath Lich King, because it's like basically my favorite era of the game. But it seems like everyone's accounts are just going to be progressed forward to Cataclysm, and you know, progress forward to Mr. Pandaria after that, presumably, and then so on and so forth. Which, when it comes to like classic expansions, I don't know if I'll be playing World of Warcraft, but if like Legion Classic comes around, I might play that, and then that would be the only expansion that I play, because I did not play through that expansion. And then after Wrath Lich King, that really seems like the only expansion that was like very, very good. Like Dragonflight seems like pretty decent, so I guess that has that going for it. But Shadowlands was generally considered like the worst expansion for World of Warcraft, that like actively harmed the game more than it gave to it by like basically Shadowlands added like 1% to the game and like took away 99% from what I've seen. And then Battle for Azeroth, which seems really good to me from the little bit I played through it, but I hear a lot of people really, really hate Battle for Azeroth. And I think that's more from like an in-game perspective and not like a casual like questing experience, because I've heard a lot of people say very good things about questing in BFA, and then I think, like I said, it falls more down on the in-game where that expansion struggled. And then Warlords of Draenor is infamous for being kind of similar to Battle for Azeroth, where the questing was good, but basically everything after that was not good. Where the raids were like really, really popular, but the release cadence was super slow. And then other than that, like the main content of that expansion at in-game was Garrisons, which is like kind of like a mobile game is what a lot of people call it. But yeah, Legion seems really cool, so I might play Legion Classic if I'm still playing WoW at that time. Which honestly, I've been playing WoW since 2008, and I've quit like 2 times now, and I've been thinking about quitting the 3rd time, but will I ever quit? Who knows. If WoW didn't have a subscription fee, I would probably never like think about like permanently quitting the game. It's just like I feel like it costs like a lot of money, you know. Yeah, I'm just so excited for Seasons of Discovery. Like I was freaking out when they announced it because it seems really, really cool. And I'm excited to finish up my current World of Warcraft Let's Play series, which means I'm probably going to put my Guild Wars 2 series on hold for a little bit. And I'm going to focus a lot on like World of Warcraft Let's Plays. Where I've actually been working on like a second channel that I'll reveal at some point in the future. But I'll probably be putting a lot of work into that like project of mine. Kind of just chill out, play some games, have some fun in World of Warcraft Classic, re-experience the golden years, which I guess Cataclysm is kind of like the beginning of the end for a lot of people. But like with Season of Discovery as well, I just wonder what's going to happen to like vanilla World of Warcraft after that, because we had Seasons of Mastery and then people were expecting a new season, so people think there might be like new seasons after Discovery, which will be like completely different, and then they're really going to take what they learned and make like new realms that are like Classic Plus, that like might potentially see like expansions released in like the vibe of Classic Plus, or in the vibes of vanilla. But that's all stuff down the road, and we'll get to that when it releases. I'm also almost level 77 on this character, which means we unlock the final 2 zones of Northrend, which we might go to. I want to finish this quest chain, and then we might go check out those other 2 zones. Let's eat this crusty flatbread.
I'm out of range. Need more range. That ability isn't ready. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. 'Cause I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. 'Cause I can't do that 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 yet. 'Cause I isn't ready yet.
Yeah, I was thinking, so like with my current Let's Play series, I'm playing a human mage, and I've been thinking that I want to play an orc character next, but I might change that up a little bit, or maybe I won't, because maybe I'll play, I don't know, I have to decide what I want to do before it releases, because I'm definitely going to have like multiple characters, at least 2 characters, one I Let's Play on and then one I play normally, like off of like YouTube and stuff, and like stream on, I guess. Where if you're having a lot of stuff going on with Ashenvale, it might be cool to play like an orc character, because like orcs versus night elves is like the whole Ashenvale thing.
That ability isn't ready.
Where I could also play a night elf, but I played a human, which is a member of the Alliance, so it would probably be fun to go to the other faction. But then I'd also love to do like a hardcore Let's Play, like down the line at some point.
I'm out of range.
I wish I might play on like,
That ability isn't ready yet.
I don't know what's going on here. It's a hunter, a bot, I don't know. Anyways, so I might play that on like different races and whatnot. So if I play a human and then an orc, and then I could do a hardcore Let's Play on like a night elf and an undead or something. There's also the whole future seasons idea, where we have seasons of Discovery, so maybe I'll play like an Orc Hunter 3 seasons of Discovery, and then when that season ends, I'll start a new character in a new season, and let's play through that, so that might be something we see.
I'm out of range.
I think when it comes to this YouTube channel, I'm definitely thinking about focusing a lot of my efforts on like a new project that I was working on, and then as I said, as far as this channel goes, probably a lot of Let's Play stuff, and then Minecraft shorts, I guess, and then other videos where I find the time to make them. I got a text, 1 second. Okay, I need one more thing and then one more croc whisk.
Can't do that yet.
And then I think I'll finish this quest chain, where there's 2 major quest chains and 1 minor quest chain in this map. Or I think I'll just complete this major one, and then we'll check out Storm Peaks for a little bit perhaps. And then we will go to Ice Crown, I think, which is like the last zone in the game. Storm Peaks and Ice Crown are like both the last zones. But I always consider Ice Crown to be like the official last zone, because that's where like the final raid, the final 2 raids actually, of the game are located. Okay, we got all of this. So let's go back to base camp. Nesting Wary base camp. Where I'll have new talents. Go into 2-handed weapons. So we're getting very close to level 80. Where I have 5 characters I've been playing Lich King Classic with. And I think I'm never going to play these 5 characters ever again, because I'll have them all to level 80. And I think I'm just going to liquidate like all their assets, as I've done with 2 of them pretty much already, and I've sent to like other characters. And I'm going to basically like pool all the resources I have into like one. Well, I'll send it to like another character, and then I'm going to create a Worgen Druid, I think, is what I'm going to go with for Cataclysm Classic, and we'll play through that, and I'll have all those resources for Cataclysm and stuff. Which Leveling Experience and Cataclysm is actually probably going to be like pretty fast, I believe, which is interesting. Like they're doing like a lot of changes for Cataclysm, so we'll see how that goes down the line. This is an interesting thing going on right now, where we collected all these different fruits, and now we have like a mini game here, where we have Tipsy McManus here, basically telling us what to do here, where we have 3 different barrels where we could add one of these fruits into here, and then we have a pressure valve, and we have a brazier that we can light or turn on or off or whatever, open the pressure valve. And we're basically just brewing a special drink called Kungaloosh or whatever, which I think is a real life drink as well. Yeah, this is just like a, unique mini game like at this period of time in World of Warcraft, which is just adds like makes this like quest line like very special. And like when I was talking earlier, we were doing a quest where we had to kill 60 beasts, and we had this person over here that was also like killing 60 beasts, and we were like racing, and like they started ahead, but when we got to like 60 kills, they only had like 54 kills or something like that. So we like just barely beat them, and like he shows up every now and then as we like kill more and more mobs to basically like give an update about his adventures and like to do some banter with us and stuff. And then like the core concept of like this whole quest chain as well is very similar to like the Burning Crusade in vanilla, where there's like 3 like different types of beasts in this like map that we fight, and then we fight like the big bad of that beast in this map, and then that leads to like a 4th one that's like the final boss of this quest line, which we'll see in a bit.
Talk to me. Off with you. Watch your back.
But we can offer samples of this now to people, so let's go do all of this, and then I think I might just relax a little bit, sit back, and let's progress through game a little bit. Let's come over here and get this quest.
Hello. Safe
And it's going to take us to Lakeside Landing, and then we have some other quests over there to do as well.
How are you?
We got that one. Okay. Okay, let's get some sand ferns on the way over here. That's later on. And then we can return, do all these different quests here. I might have to kill this crocodilisk. Yeah, we're getting very close to level 80 on this character. I wish I had some different plans. I might do like one more stream where we'll hit 80 on this character, so I might play a little bit in between, so we can do some fun quests in Ice Crown. I definitely want to check out the Argent Tournament Grounds a little bit more, because that's like one of my favorite parts of Lich King, and like I barely played it in Classic, so it might be fun to go play through it a bit more. I kind of had a revelation, which is like still true, where basically like I was like really wanting to complete like every single thing in Lich King, and then I realized that I did that all back in the day, so then I'm like, what's the point? And I'm still kind of like, what's the point? Where like on one hand it's fun, but also like I can have fun doing things that I haven't done a million times, I guess. So that's been something I've been thinking a lot about when it comes to that Classic, which is something I'm excited for with Classic Plus, because it's like something new that I haven't done before, but still like the same kind of like general vibes and themes. Hello, tomorrow. This is an NPC I see people talk a lot about, like just randomly, because we have Tomorrow Wobble Sprocket here, who's a human, married to Marvin Wobble Sprocket, who's a gnome.
What can I do
Which
for you?
I don't think we see that too often in
See you
like
later.
WoW, I guess. Oh, this is the
Have a good
what
one.
was that? Force of
See you
Nature.
later.
Oh yeah, Avatar Free. I guess we could go check them out really quickly. What's this? Down here, Vix Keys. I forget if this quest leads to something. Oh, I think we have to go to different dirt piles around here, or raised mud, and try to find these keys. I don't remember if this leads to something or if this is just a one-off quest, but we got it on our first mud pile, so that's cool. Yeah, we have another quest here that has to do with the Frenzy Heart and the Oracles, which is a pretty fun quest chain. Help Vic complete the reconnaissance fight. Okay, let's just go on this fight. I guess we're going to be fighting enemies around this. So, oh, I remember this now. We're going to fight Scourge, I think. But yeah, we have like the Oracles, which are like basically like a more primal, older version of Murlocs, I think. And then we have the Frenzy Heart, who are Wolvars, which we fought. Did we fight Wolvars? We definitely passed by some Wolvars. Here's an avatar of Freya. Yeah, then we have Ice Crown all the way up here, and this is like a really cool part of the map, where we have like Ice Crown breaking into Shoulderzar Basin, where like one of the main storylines going on here, which we mostly explore with like the Oracles versus the Frenzy Heart, is that we have these 5 pillars. Oh, I need to fight these. And Shoulderzar Basin here, so like the Skyreach pillar and the Suntouch pillar and stuff, and they're basically like defense mechanisms created by the Titans, which are, or the Titan Keepers, maybe, I forget which one, that like stops like the Scourge from being able to like I have to fly back, which stops the Scourge from being able to like come into this zone and like corrupt it. Which is why we see Shoulderzar Basin as like so like special and unique. But the Lifeblood Pillar got destroyed, I believe, by like Scourge minions that like aren't undead but like humans. So the Cult of the Damned, I believe. And they destroyed the pillar, and that allowed the Scourge to come this far into Shoulderzar, and are basically like messing everything up here. And then we see an agent of the Titan Keeper, Freya, basically trying to like push them back, and then that's what that quest line is related to as well. Let's go ahead, crash land this here, and then we can turn this quest in, I think. Crash land there? Yeah. And then let's talk to Pilot Vic.
What can I do for you? See you around. Have a good one.
When did we learn Cold Weather Flying? Oh, it's not like... We had the book, and I can't see it because I already know. Oh, here we go. We learned at 77. Okay. But you can get a book at level 80 to give to other characters that can use it at level 68, which is cool. But with Cataclysm Classic releasing, all characters can learn it at 68 anyways, and it's also like half price, I think. So I won't buy that book for my new character. Yeah, I think with vanilla and with like the different classic iterations we've gotten, I really played like a lot of like aughts, so like multiple characters at like the same exact time, where I think moving forward I really want to start focusing on like playing like one individual character, which I'm not going to do this. What is it? Initiative Trust. Let's abandon this. I was just turning in that quest. Where I really played like a lot of characters at the same time, and I kind of want to experience what it's like to really only play one character, which I think that's what I'm going to do with Cataclysm. I'm only going to play one character, and like might potentially like level some like other characters to like level 20, like on stream, just for like stream content and stuff. And then with like Classic Plus, like I'll have that Let's Play character, and then I might have like one other character. Well, I'm gonna have one other character that I play like off stream and stuff. So that would be 2 characters there. And then probably the same thing with like future seasons. But I guess in hardcore I'll still have like a lot of alternate characters, because you know my characters die, so I make like a new character. Let's go get these footprints over here. I might be like pretty close to 77.5. So if I go do some Storm Peaks content and then do some Ice Crown content, I might reach level 78. Which maybe I'll try to get to like probably into 79 before the next time I stream on this character. And then we could do like some Argent Tournament grounds and then just some Ice Crown exploration until level 80. And then I'll clean up this character and then we'll work on one of my other characters. Where I've been leveling 3 characters at the same exact time. I have this arms where am I arms or am I fury on this character? Oh, I'm fury for the two-handed weapons. So I've been playing this character and then I'm playing an elemental shaman and then I've also been playing a disciplined priest primarily through PvP, but I've started doing a bit more PvE questing because I kind of just want to finish up that character. I'll probably finish those 3 characters, send all my gold to like my paladin or whatever, and then I'll transfer all that gold to my Worgen druid when Cataclysm comes out. But that's going to be way down the line, where the next thing that's really seen is Classic Plus. So I'm going to be working on finishing up. Let's explore this part of the road maybe. Here's some Titan stuff here. So I'm going to really focus on finishing up like my Let's Play series. And then diving deep into the Season of Discovery. I've been playing my human mage for a very long time now. And I think like leveling is going to be faster in the Season of Discovery compared to like vanilla era. So we'll see like how long that lasts.
You need something?
Or it might be like about the same amount of time because I think I played my human for like a year and a half now.
May the light embrace you.
And that might be how long the new season lasts. Seasons of Mastery lasted a year, but I think they said this will last like a year and a half. But I'm not 100% sure. A year and a half makes sense. If they do like 3 level bands or whatever they're called, so one at 25 and then maybe one at like I don't know 40 and one at 55 or something, 35, 45, who knows, we'll see what happens. So they'll have like 3 of those, which will be 6 months, and then they'll have like a year of new content added with like each of the raids and stuff. I think ultimately we'll just have to wait to see what happens, but I'm excited for the immediate future and we'll see how it is. I'm definitely scared for how the community is going to be, because I talked about this in my next Let's Play series coming out, but the community really is starting to ruin like vanilla era, which is unfortunate, and then we've seen the community like completely ruin Wrath Lich King, which is unfortunate. So we'll see what happens with Classic Plus. You know, it's probably going to start off really good and then get worse with time. I think we just have to finish up these 3 quests here and then we go to the last area for questing in this part, or this quest chain. And then after that we'll go back to Delaran. I think my human priest is level 76 and I was doing some stuff in this zone actually. Like a couple hours before I started streaming. And then I have my elemental shaman, which I did something that I've been really wanting to do, and it's to kind of level past level 70 in Outlands, because what I've always done is basically just reach level 68 and then go to Northrend and start leveling there. But I stayed in Outlands and leveled to 70, and then I continued to level in Outlands to level 71 So I kind of just had that like gameplay experience that I've like never done before. And I think you could level to like level 74 or something in Healthlands before coming to Northrend. But I think I want to do a stream where I do like Isle Quodanis and just like kind of like have footage of that, and then go to Boring Tundra and like play through that. So that'll be something I do in the future after this character, because I want to get this character to 80 so I can buy that tome for that one character. Because I could send 1,000 gold to like one of my level 80s that I currently have, but I've kind of like liquidated and like sent all their gold away, and parked them in a special spot in the world. Well, this quest is always weird for positioning. I think you gotta put it. Is it this one? Put it in a very specific spot in the middle, or like upper 2/3 or something. And then we have Bushwhacker that we can fight.
That ability isn't ready yet. You can't do that yet.
And then we have another quest to turn in here. And then we can go get these two, return to Nessamere base camp, and then we start the final chain of this quest, or part of this quest chain. You know, words are hard. Yeah, I had very, very low expectations for Blizzcon, and
Good day to you.
I'm pleasantly
See you later.
surprised. I guess that brings up something I did talk about earlier, where a lot of people are very like doom and gloom about games in general, I guess. But I think it's very prevalent in like the classic WoW community, where there was a lot of people that thought that like Classic Plus was like a possibility to happen, and then there's like a lot of people like, I don't know the word you want to use, like bullying those people, I guess, verbally abusing on forums, I guess you could say. And like Twitch chats and stuff like that, like people that wanted Classic Plus to like exist, where the people that were like bullying other people were like talking about how it's like never going to happen, and people are stupid for thinking it's going to happen, and like, you know, more abrasive things than that. And now of course we see it happening, which is kind of funny because of like the community and interactions that were happening beforehand, which of course those people are not going to like, you know, go back on like what they were saying. They're gonna like double down and be like, well, it's not as good as it should be, or like insert 10,000 other things that they think is wrong with it or whatever. But for people that want to play through it, they'll get to play through it, and I think that's good for people that are interested in that. Yeah, I think this like BlizzCon was just like huge for like adding things for like a wide audience of players. So they're adding a new hardcore game type for people who enjoy hardcore, and then they're adding Classic Plus for people that want a Classic Plus. They're adding Cataclysm Classic for people that want a Cataclysm Classic. They're adding 3 new retail expansions for people that want retail expansions. Well, I guess 1 new retail expansion, and then they tease the next 2. So just overall like a good BlizzCon for a wide variety of people. And of course there's going to be people disappointed, because everyone has like their opinion on like what they want Classic Plus to be, which like I think I said this earlier, but like, you know, that's impossible for developers to add every single thing that like people want, because then it's contradictory, because, you know, some people like want something to not be added that eventually gets added, or vice versa.
Greetings. See you later.
Ooh, do we get new shoulder pads here? don't think this is better than what I have equipped.
See you around.
Oh, that's a helmet I picked up too. None of that was better than what I had.
Met. See you soon.
This is like better than what I have, but it's leather armor. It doesn't have strength, so I guess it's
Be
worse.
good.
I think warriors really want to prioritize strength over any other stat. Maybe like attack power is better, I'm not sure. Okay, so we finished all of those quests, which means we can begin in search of bigger game, which is the last part of this whole quest chain. Where if we, there we go, come into our achievements page and we come to quests, we're at the Lich King into the basin. We've completed 30 quests already in this stream, and an hour 20 minutes, not bad. I completed the Dragon Blight quest, did 44 in Borean Tundra, 116 in Howling Fjord, 42 in Grizzly Hills, 19 in Zildrak, 30 in Sholazar, and then we'll check out Storm Peaks a little bit. But I might play Storm Peaks mostly on the Draenei Elemental Shaman character. And then we'll go spend some time in Icecrown as well. Or maybe we'll check out the Argent Tournament grounds in this stream. Kind of want to do that. Just go play some of that stuff. I definitely want to do the intro quest chain for Icecrown. Which Icecrown is the biggest question zone in Northrend, and there are a lot of major quest chains
What can I do for you?
in that map.
Have a good
But
one.
let's go ahead and finish up this quest chain.
See you later. See you around. Be careful.
And we have this quest here as well, burning to help. So we have to go get those, and then okay, let's work on the worms first.
I can't do that. That ability isn't ready yet.
There's just something about Wrath of the Lich King questing, like for me personally, that is just like very relaxing and enjoyable.
Not ready.
Like same thing with Burning Crusade. And, I guess questing in WoW in general.
That ability
I guess there's something about the gameplay of Wrath of the Lich King that's very enjoyable and relaxing.
not enough range. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I need to get closer. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Need more rage. Not ready. That ability isn't ready. I can't do that yet. I can't do that yet.
Okay, I finished hatchlings, so I need 3 more drakes. Which I think I have to arrange the drakes down to get most of them. But some of them are like walking on the
Far
ground.
away.
Then they fly away, which is annoying. So let's try to get. Oh, let's get this one on the ground over here.
can't do that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not in a rage. I can't do that yet.
Hello, Jake. Hope you're doing well tonight.
Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet.
I'm just chilling out for the evening. Today's my birthday, so just relaxing right now. Thank you. Just playing some old school World of Warcraft Classic. The second expansion of the game, and the third one from 2010 will be releasing soon, so I'm wanting to finish some stuff up in this era. Okay, these two are complete. Let's go grab this one. Never got to play World of Warcraft. It is the first game that I ever played. Where I first started playing it in 2008, and I've been playing it basically on and off. But I might start soon. Yeah, there's a lot of different options for people to play. So there's like the modern version, and then there's like different versions of like the old game that people can play, which is always exciting to have like a variety of things that people can do depending on like what they enjoy. Or I think I like the like older versions of the game because like that's what I grew up playing, so it's kind of just oh, this is a fun Easter egg I forgot about. Easter eggs lost. I just grew up playing that version of the game, so you know the nostalgia is there for me. Definitely a bit of an expensive game though, because it has a subscription fee, plus you have to pay for like expansions and stuff. The nice thing about Classic is you don't have to pay for expansions, so you just need the subscription fee. I've heard this is a little grindy, but I've always liked the idea of playing an RPG with other people in the same world with you. Yeah, that's like the magical thing about like MMOs in general. It's just like always in like an active world where there's like other people around. I think like I guess I don't do. I play the game like really casually. I think when it comes to like in-game content, it can be like pretty grindy. But like I just like exploring the world and questing and stuff like that, which isn't too grindy. The subscription fee is $15 a month, but it's like you can buy bundles where it's discounted, so that encourages you to spend more money, you know, from a marketing standpoint. But the base fee is $15 a month. I think it's like one of the few MMOs that still exists nowadays that still has a subscription fee, because when it originally released like back in 2004, that was like a very common thing with like MMOs, like starting like 20 years prior to the first MMO. Like a lot of them just had like these subs that you had to put money into in order to allow the developers to like upkeep servers and stuff like that. But we see it less nowadays. Or I think like EVE Online and like Final Fantasy 14 are like the two other like primary MMOs that still have sub fees other than like World of Warcraft. Makes sense, server costs are expensive, but that's not cheap for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think that's like the main thing that turns a lot of people away from the game. But overall, I have a lot of fun with it. I mean, I've been basically playing this game since like 2008, and then I quit in like 2014 for like 5 years, and I came back in 2019, and I've been basically playing since then for the last like 4 years. Does this have... no. This is just trample. I thought there was like a sprint skill in this mammoth. Yeah, today was a big day for World of Warcraft because they announced the new expansion for the modern version of the game, and then they teased the 2 expansions after that, and then they announced the next classic expansion, which the current expansion released in like 2008, and then the next one released in 2010. So we're about to play through that again. And then they announced a new version of vanilla World of Warcraft, which is like the original game from 2004. That's a little complicated, but they're adding a new thing of that. And then they announced some other stuff as well. Let's go do these other 2 quests before I do postpartum aggression. How expensive is it to get into modern WoW? If you pay the subscription fee, which is like the $15 if you buy just 1 month, you can play all of the content in that game up to and through the most recent expansion. And then if you want to play the current expansion, you have to pay it's like $50, I think, and it sometimes goes on sale for that new expansion. And then you have to pay for every single new expansion thereafter that releases. So I guess $65 to get your first month, but I think they might bundle 1 month sub with like the expansion, so I guess $50 for your first month, and then 15 years thereafter. And then if you want to buy any additional expansions, you have to shell out that extra $50 every 2 years. Or like this, I don't like giving advice like this, but maybe like if you're like interested in playing, you could spend the $15 to get the subscription fee, which will allow you to like level up pretty far, and then if you decide you like it, you could get the new expansion, or you could wait for like the next expansion to release, which I think is like sometime next year, if you want to save an extra $50, but that would require you to wait a little bit longer. Just depends on what you want to do and how you enjoy playing games and what you want to do with your money.
That ability isn't ready yet. Need more raid.
I've been like considering playing like the modern version of the game, because the expansion before the current one is like kind of considered by a lot of people in the community to be like the single worst expansion ever released, which was really disappointing. But the current one seems to be pretty good from what I've seen and from what I've watched and from what I've listened to people talk about. So that's like a good thing, that it seems like the game is going in the right direction as far as like gameplay and story and stuff goes. So I was like kind of interested in playing this expansion, but like the next expansion that they announced also seems like pretty cool, so I was kind of interested in getting into it. But the second and third expansion that they teased today seemed like really, really cool, based off like the teasers. So from like the story and like the areas of the world that we're going to, from like a lore and story perspective, for what I enjoy about like the lore and story of this game. So I might play those expansions. The last time that I've like really played like the modern version of the game was 2014, and I've been mostly playing the classic version since it released in 2019. It looks really fun, but the subscription fee isn't an idea I'm super fond of. Yeah, that's like the primary reason I quit back in 2014, is like the combination of I wasn't really enjoying the game anymore, and then the subscription fee is $15. So I'm not going to spend $15 to like play something that I'm not enjoying. So I just dropped the game. And then I came back for Classic and I've enjoyed it, so it's been worth $15 for like me personally. Yeah, I play another MMO, Guild Wars 2, which I like the monetization of that game significantly more than this game, because you buy the expansions in that game, but there's no subscription fee, and then there's like in-game microtransactions, of course, but they're either quality of life, or which like some people don't like when quality of life is put behind a price tag, but for the most part it's cosmetics, which I think most people generally consider like microtransactions for cosmetics to be an okay thing. There's like some people that think like all rewards should be like available in the game. I'm waiting for the Elder Scrolls 6 to come out. Me too. My first ever game was Skyrim, and that was a pretty dang good intro to video games. That's a good one. I played that when it originally released, and it's probably my top 5 favorite games of all time. And I'm super excited for Elder Scrolls 6 to release. I'm like kind of interested in playing Starfield. I haven't bought it yet. But I think the part of Starfield that I'm most excited about is that that means that Elder Scrolls 6 is next, I suppose. Because they were going to release Starfield and then start working on, like diving deep into like producing Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, I loved Skyrim, and then I went back and I played Oblivion as well and loved it. And played Morrowind, and me personally I didn't enjoy it that much, but it was still like a fun experience. And then I barely touched Daggerfall or Arena. I played a bit of Elder Scrolls Online. But I'm definitely very, very excited for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out.
It's too far away. Not ready.
I think like World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Skyrim, Portal 2, and Minecraft might be like my top 5 favorite games. Yeah, I think cosmetic purchases are fine as long as microtransactions don't interfere with the gameplay of a game. I'm fine with them. I definitely agree with that. I hate when games become like pay to win, where you have to like pay money in order to become more powerful. And like some games kind of like disguise that as like play to progress, where you have to put in like a lot of money to progress to a point that like other players reach. Or like if you pay money, you get there in like, you know, 2 days compared to like someone having to put in like 6 months of effort, which is basically the same thing as like pay to win, I suppose. But I think that's like why a lot of people like old subscription-based games, because like you pay a subscription every month and you got like the entire game. There's like no microtransactions and nothing like that. But we've seen World of Warcraft evolve to being like the worst of all worlds, where you have to pay for a subscription every month and then you have to pay for an expansion, and then on top of that there's a microtransaction store where you can buy services like race changes or faction changes, and then like cosmetics and stuff as well.
Need help? Be careful.
So there's a lot of monetization in this game.
Be careful.
Hi, you're a tall one. Alrighty then.
Can I help
Okay, postpartum aggression.
later?
Final quest for this question.
I need to target something first.
And then I think I'm gonna head to Storm Peaks and Ice Crown after this. I'll just sneak past all these primordial drakes and get to the Broodmother here. So one of these is a trap, or I think he just lays down traps and we have to drag. So I think we start with Charge, Gorge,
That
Stomp,
ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet.
and
That ability
then
isn't ready.
get on a Flame Breath. Okay, bring him over to the trap, or her, I guess.
That's still recharging. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready yet.
I think we might have to finish this fight on our feet. Get the trap going.
I can't do that yet. I can't cast that yet. Not ready yet.
Oh, I think we need to save Stampy Stompy Stomp for when she Flame Breaths. We have another trap. Okay, let's save the Stomp. I think we'll actually be fine here. Okay, now it's done. There we go. Interrupted. Let's charge in. And one more hit.
That spell isn't ready.
There we go. And that's it. With some games, it's like pay not to play. You can play the game and progress normally, or pay money and instantly get into the end game. Why would anyone want to do that? Yeah, I think a lot of people really like enjoy the end game of like games, but like for me, like the adventure is like the best part of the game. The journey is the best part of the game. At least when it comes to games like World of Warcraft, like the end game is like okay, but I definitely enjoy like leveling up and exploring the world to get to the maximum level, much more than being at maximum level and like doing the in-game content and like dungeons and raids. Same thing with like World of Warcraft. You know, games like Minecraft, you know, I don't really care too much about fighting the Ender Dragon. I just want to build cool bases. It just voids the whole point of getting a game to play it. Exactly. I think that's like a big issue we see with like modern gaming, where like a lot of people really try to optimize games, which is like completely fine, but I think there's a point where you like optimize games too much, where you just like suck the fun out of the game. And then I think it also like creates like an environment of like toxicity, where we see that with like in-game content and like Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft, for example, right? Like people get really pissed off if somebody does something that adds like 2 seconds to your dungeon run, because like that's 2 seconds of their life they're never getting back, which is unfortunate. And like I just like playing through a game, having fun, and like I like optimizing at like certain points and like, you know, competing to like, you know, be the best. But like I prefer that in like more competitive games like Valorant or Counter-Strike compared to like a more cooperative game, especially when like the barrier or like the threshold of completion is like significantly lower than like the maximum optimization that you can do in a game. Like as long as you complete it, like, you know, I don't mind doing like a dungeon if it's slower, as long as everyone has a good time, compared to like doing a dungeon that's faster if everyone's having a bad time. Exactly, players will optimize the game until it's no longer fun. Yep. I think that's one of the issues with like classic World of Warcraft with like this game, is like this game released in 2004, and like way back in the day, you know, people didn't have like as many guides. There weren't like all these like YouTube guides and videos like teaching you how to play the game. People just played the game and had fun. But now in like the classic version of World of Warcraft in 2019, everyone, or like a good chunk of people, played this game way back when. So like they understand the content, and there's like decades or like 15 years of like practice in this game, and like figuring out like all the special mechanics, and like people optimizing like damage and like getting gear and stuff like that, where even though it's like the same game, or like almost the same game as it was all the way back then, it's a completely different experience just because of how people like interact with the game nowadays. Because like back then everyone was just adventuring together, having fun together, exploring the world together. But nowadays, like in this version of Wrath of Lich King Classic, people have just like optimized the game so much that they only log into raid to get gear, and they do the raids as fast as they can, and then they log off for the rest of the week. Which is a cool thing that I was talking about before you came into stream, where they announced Classic Plus, basically, where they're basically adding like new content to the vanilla version of the game, and they're being very careful about making sure there's no like public tests for this new content, really, and like not revealing where like all this stuff is going to be. So it's allowing like a fresh opportunity for people to play like this type of game from like this version of World of Warcraft, but with like new content. So like for the first week, it should be like a really enjoyable experience, as like everyone's working together to like, you know, find all these cool things around the world and to like explore stuff. And then people are going to be theory crafting, but, you know, after like a month or whatever, people are going to have figured it out, and people are probably going to like want you to do like what's optimal and have like the best gear and like best new skills and whatnot. When a new game comes out, I try my best to avoid any content made on it except for reviews. It's fun to just explore a new game and discover the game yourself. Yeah, it depends on the game for me. So like a game that I'm really interested in playing, I definitely do that, and like I avoid. So like I've been wanting to play like Starfield, for example. So like I've barely looked at like any content produced for that game. But then there's like other games that I'm like not interested in playing, so I like fully dive into like YouTube videos and Twitch streams and stuff like that for like those games, because I know I'm not going to play them. And maybe one day like down the line I'll play it. Like I watched a full Let's Play of Detroit Become Human because I didn't think I would play that game, and then I ended up playing that game anyway, so that kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But whatever. I think I'm gonna just do like this quest, and then let's go to Ice Crown, because I did the thing on Burning Crusade where I completed at least one quest in every zone, so we can do that for here, where I've already done that actually. Only thing I've seen of Starfield is someone fill a ship to the brim with pickles. I think I saw that too. I get like, I'm on Reddit a lot, and I get like the Starfield subreddit recommendations. I haven't muted it, and I skip past like most of them, but like I see the photos that people make of like their ships. So I've seen like really cool like ship layouts, and like I've seen people make ships from like popular media like Star Wars and like Star Trek and stuff, which is cool. I think that's a fun thing about, I guess, like single player games, and like especially Bethesda games compared to like games like MMORPGs and like World of Warcraft, where like there's like less community pressure, I guess, to like optimize your gameplay. I think there's like a YouTube video that was really popular, but I didn't watch it, but it was basically titled like, quote, "It's disrespectful to be bad at World of Warcraft," end quote, where it was basically talking about how like if you're not optimizing the game, like you're ruining the game for other people. And I think the video was mostly talking about how that's a bad concept, and like that's true. Like if you're like not optimizing the game, a lot of people are going to be frustrated at you if you run dungeons or raids and stuff. Which is unfortunate, because you don't have to optimize that badly in order to complete that stuff. Like I did a lot of raids in Guild Wars 2, and like I organized my own groups to be able to like do those raids and stuff, because like I understood that you don't have to be like the best players in the game to be able to like beat 99% of like the raid encounters in Guild Wars 2.
Keep it real.
You know, there's really like, I don't know, like 6 encounters that require you to be like exceptionally good at the game in the current version of Guild Wars 2, and then everything else is like pretty basic. Like I think like the first raid boss in the game, you need an average group DPS of like 8,000 damage per second, like per player, in order to like beat that boss, and like the current like meta is like 40,000 per player, which is like 5 times as much as you need. So like, you know, you can be 5 times less optimal than the current optimization in that game allows you to still clear like that specific raid boss. And of course that changes with like other things, of course. Disrespectful to be bad at a game is one of the worst gaming things I've heard. Just let people enjoy the game. If you don't like playing with bad players, don't play with them. No need to bully them. Yeah, I think that's one of my biggest, like, I think I said this, but that's one of my biggest issues with like MMOs in general. People are just so stingy, I guess, when it comes to stuff like that, and it's always really unfortunate to like run into like toxic people. Like in my Guild Wars 2 guild, I had like a few toxic people that like became toxic as like they got better at the game, which was unfortunate. And then I just avoid a lot of in-game content nowadays because of like the toxicity that exists. And of course it's not always bad, you know, you run into like, you know, good people, I guess, good players, and you can like find communities and stuff of like-minded players, like what I've done in Guild Wars 2, that are okay with you not being the best at a game. Which, like, I genuinely consider myself, like, pretty decent at, like, games like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2. Or, like, maybe not specifically World of Warcraft anymore, because, like, I just don't really pay attention to, like, I might die here. I don't really pay attention to, like, oh, I got flashbanged, to, like, optimizing the game. Is there a horse on Minesweeper? No, it was like a minefield there, and I was trying to get an achievement, but where you like hit 10 mines without landing on the ground, but it's kind of like RNG waste. And then I took too much damage, and then I was flying away, and I was getting hit by mortars. So I just died there. But there's this Minesweeper achievement: get caught in 10 consecutive landmine explosions in the spark socket minefield without landing. So I like to just try to do that achievement sometimes. But I think it's, like I said, mostly luck based. Just around the corner. Let's go turn this in. And then we have 3. Yeah, we have like 3 different questions that I kind of want to do in Ice Crown. And then I guess I'll just do the first one. Let's bring this over here, I guess. So let's go to the start of Ice Crown. And then I'll explore Storm Peaks on a different character another time. I think Ice Crown is... I was saying Grizzly Hills is my favorite questing zone. I just really like the Wrath Lich King expansion. Zildrak is definitely not my favorite questing zone. And I don't think Storm Peaks is. But it's a tie between the other 6 zones here. But let's go start this quest chain, and I'll just work on all of that. Honor above all else. My favorite lore and story ally in World of Warcraft, High Lord Tyrion Fordring. Halfway to 78, which is cool. What talents? Oh, I have a talent point. Two-handed weapon specialization. And then I'll put 1 more in that, and then I get like 2 or 3 more talent points after that. I don't know where I'll put those. Maybe overpower. And sweeping strikes, maybe, if I can get down that far. Hello, Tyrion Fordring. So we have the battlefield here of Ice Crown, all controlled by the Scourge, and we are going to start making our way from this lowly base camp right here, deeper and deeper into Ice Crown, taking over different places along the way, killing Scourge along the way. I think focused webbed crusaders for the first part of this quest, because it is an annoying quest to complete. And then everything else in this question is fun after this. Like we have these webbed crusaders here, and you need to free 8 of them, so you just break the webbing. But there's like a 75% chance or something to spawn an enemy instead of a crusader, so it takes a while to complete this quest. Now I want to go do Argent Tournament stuff as well. Maybe we'll do the first few quests here, and then we'll go do Argent Tournament. Which I think there's a quest in Delaran that sends us there, I'm not sure. but there's also, we could fly to the airship. There's, I know a lot of people didn't like the airships in this map, but I think they're kind of cool. Or basically like this entire map is like incredibly hostile, except for like the few places that we capture along the way. So we capture like here and then up here, and then there's like a place over here. Like for the most part, there's just like a ton of undead everywhere in this map, and you can't really run around on the ground. So the Alliance and the Horde each have like their primary outposts in the air, just flying around the map on an airship instead of being like on the ground somewhere, which is a really cool concept. But they move around in like a set like circle, set path around the map, and I think that's what people don't like about it, because like you have to fly kind of far to turn in some quests sometimes. But I've always liked the airship models in World of Warcraft.
That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready. I can't do that yet. Not ready. That ability isn't ready. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. That ability isn't ready yet.
I think depending on when Cataclysm Classic releases, I could play another character to level 80, but I guess that also depends on like how much vanilla WoW that I play, because there's the new Classic Plus releasing, and I really want to play through that and do Let's Plays in that area of the game. So we'll see how much of each version of the game I play. So what's the lore in WoW? I know basically nothing about the lore. I think the simplest way to answer that question is that there is 30 years of development across 3 mainline games, and then this MMORPG that is like a sequel to those 3 games, plus other games, plus like 50 or something novels, plus like countless short stories and comic books. So there's a lot of like lore and story development, and it's like a very lore rich like fantasy world with like a lot of different like, you know, allies and enemy factions and like stuff going on. There's like a ton of stuff, and when we look at like each expansion, they focus on like different stories. So in this expansion, the primary story has to do with an enemy faction called the Scourge, which is basically who I'm fighting right now, and are basically like undead minions, and they're controlled by their primary leader, who's like the Lich King, who is kind of a complicated character because it ties into a lot of other stories that we see in like the past games, and we also see added onto in the future as well. Where for the most part, when we look at the Lich King, we kind of see this one individual called Arthas, who's my favorite villain in all of media. I think out of like every movie and video game and whatnot, I think he's like my favorite villain. That kind of reminds me of Halo. Yeah, think of like the Halo universe and like all the lore that exists in Halo, and then think about that as World of Warcraft and the Warcraft universe, with like, you know, different, like this is high fantasy where Halo's, you know, sci-fi. But yeah, we're fighting Arthas the Lich King, and then we're fighting the Scourge. But then there's like a ton of other stories going on here related to like the Titan Keepers and the Titans, and then there's like stories going on with the Nerubians, and stories with the Blue Dragon fight, and then the other dragon fights, the different dragon aspects, and then there's a story going on with the Worgen, which is like connected to the story with the Lich King, and then there's a story going on with the Drakari Empire and the Zuldrak, and many more things going on. So like the expansion has like one like big primary story that we're kind of seeing, and then like a ton of other stories going on, and then like when this expansion released, there's like books coming out talking about like other stories. But I think like the basic premise of like World of Warcraft as a whole, on like a fundamental level, is that there are two factions of people in the world, that different races, where there's the Alliance and the Horde, and they all have a ton of history, but they basically fight each other because they don't like each other. And then those factions, like together, but also while fighting each other, work to fight against evil factions of the world that want to bring destruction. And then you fight the big bad guy and save the day and move on to the next one. And then repeat that for every single expansion that's come out. Where some expansions have like focused more on like the Alliance and the Horde working together, and then some expansions have really focused on them hating each other and fighting against each other, and it's kind of evolved over the years. Where I think we're kind of entering an era of World of Warcraft where they're more friendly towards each other than enemies. So we'll see how that story plays out. But yeah, the new expansion that was revealed today is the 10th expansion for World of Warcraft. So there is a lot of content in this game and like a lot of stories. So there's really a lot to get into, but it's like overwhelming for like new players, I think, because there's like just so much stuff. But I think a lot of people generally recommend to just focus on like the newest content that's released, like level up to where you can play like the new expansion and like play through that. Has there been a time where they fought side by side? Yeah, constantly throughout the story. There's always like small like treaties and stuff where like they work together at like a certain moment in time. And it's always like through, or like with, is the word animosity, or like they're doing it but like begrudgingly, but like they have to do it. And that's happened in like pretty much every expansion. Including the one I'm playing through right now. They work together. There's a very famous cutscene in this expansion, if I am to spoil it a little bit, where like they like rally together and they work together, and then there's like a rogue group in one of the factions that betrays both of the factions, and that sets off like some conflicts between the two factions. Because of course like the rogue group was like part of one of the factions, so the other faction thinks it was like the faction that the rogue group was once part of that kind of like betrayed them. So that's like a whole storyline that goes on. When I play games, I always get deep in lore. I like to know why things are the way they are. I'm exactly the same way. I play like a lot of fantasy worlds, I feel like, and I always get super deep into the lore, like especially Warcraft and Guild Wars and like Halo. I think I'm less into Elder Scrolls lore just because of how chaotic I guess it is. Like you know, Kim is like a very popular like piece of lore from the Elder Scrolls universe that people always talk about being like a very confusing concept, and I like reading Elder Scrolls lore. It's just not something I've ever gotten super into. Yeah, I definitely love Warcraft lore.
I'm out of range.
Can sometimes be bad to get like super into the lore of the game, because like, you know, the game's always evolving and there's always new stories being told, so like you get super into like the lore and like you have like predictions for like where you want the story to go, and then the story doesn't go that way, so then like it can be like frustrating. Like I think the most recent expansion before the current one, that's like a very popular idea surrounding that expansion, where I think most people don't enjoy where the lore and story in that expansion went, so a lot of people were frustrated with it. Chaotic is a great way to describe the Elder Scrolls lore. I've had a pretty good understanding of most things in the lore, but it's taken me a lot of time to get to the level of understanding I have. I think there are definitely some concepts that could have been fleshed out and explained more. Yeah, I think a big thing about lore in games like maybe the Elder Scrolls, and then with like Halo and like Warcraft, is that like there's the mainline games, but then there's like a lot of books that like dive deep into like certain, you know, pieces of lore and story in like that universe. Where like if you play through the mainline games, you'll have like a pretty, you know, decent understanding of like the world and the story. But if you want like a full concrete understanding, you really have to dive into like those other pieces of media, which is like something that I really wanted for the Guild Wars franchise, because Guild Wars has 2 games, and then really the only other lore that they've added to that franchise is like some short stories. So I would love to see more stuff added, but like at the same side, that can make it like, you know, more confusing, where you have to like read all these books and short stories and comics and stuff to have a full understanding of the world. But I think for like people that like me that like really enjoy like gaming franchises for like more than just like the games themselves, it's like a great experience. What side do you tend towards, Stormcloaks or the Empire? So I have a very strong answer to this, and I side with the Empire actually. I like did one Stormcloak oh no, I did one Stormcloak playthrough, and like I like enjoyed it, but I feel like I personally value the Empires more. I basically always chose the Stormcloaks, but the more I played, the more I've understood the Empire. I think for me, from like a story perspective, I feel like having an amount of unity on like Tamriel would be like incredibly important for like the events that might be happening in like the Elder Scrolls 6, because we have in Skyrim, we have like the Civil War where like the Stormcloaks are like, you know, all pissed off, and then you also have like the issue with like the Reachmen as well, which causes like more division. And then you have the nations of the Daggerfall Covenant, which they're no longer the Daggerfall Covenant, I think. I don't know. But you have like Hammerfall and like High Rock, or is it just High Rock, that like left the Empire or whatever, which causes like, makes the Empire like even weaker. Where like the big threat that we see from like a geopolitical standpoint in like the Elder Scrolls universe is like, of course, the Thalmor. And then we see like the Thalmor is instigating like the conflict in Skyrim with like the Civil War, because like they want Skyrim to be weak and to like add war, because that makes the Empire weaker, which makes like the Thalmor job easier. And I feel like, you know, the Nords can fight for Skyrim back, but they won't have anything to fight for if Skyrim doesn't exist, because the Thalmor control it or destroy it or whatever. Yeah, I do believe the Empire is the right faction, but some of the things they did to the people of Skyrim were great. I understand why they are rebelling, so the decision is hard for me. I think it's like purposely supposed to be like a very difficult decision, because like the Empire are definitely not the best people in the world. It's like a authoritarian state that controls like the different provinces under the Empire's grasp. And like we've seen like the Emperor and the Empire like mess with all the different provinces around Tamriel before, and like try to control things and stuff, just like what the Thalmor are doing. So like, you know, on one hand, like if you hate the Thalmor for who they are they really that different than the Empire? Or is like the only difference is that the Thalmor are elves instead of humans? You know, it's a great game when you're genuinely conflicted between two sides in the game. Yeah, I think the Civil War storylines is like the gameplay itself is infamous for being not that great, but I think like the story like aspect of it and like the discussion that it has spawned and like the Elder Scrolls community is just like incredible, because like even to this day there's like people fighting over whether the Empire or the Stormcloaks is like the right faction or like the best faction or the faction you should side with or whatever. Which I think it's great when a game can like produce that.
money, friend. Keep it real.
I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast
That spell isn't ready
still
yet.
recharging. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That's still
There's
recharging.
so much.
I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that.
I just wish they hadn't cut so much content from the Civil War quest line. There was supposed to be so much more, but it got cut because they were running out of time to release the game. Yeah, that's one of my least favorite parts about game development, I guess. And they have to do it for like financial reasons, but it's always disappointing when a game is rushed out too early. Like, I'm a very patient person, so like I don't mind when like games take a long time to get out, because like I can wait for it. No, at some point, you know, I'll be dead, but like in a best case scenario, that's going to be a long time from now, so I'm like willing to wait a long time for games. Like, I've had no issues waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, but like I'm still scared that like maybe that game will be rushed as well. Yeah, same with Mage's Guild, College Questline. I think one of the better parts about like Skyrim is like the modding aspect of it, where there are a lot of Civil War overhauls that people like. But I'm also like not a big modding person because I like playing games mostly like how they were, like mostly an authentic experience. But, like, really the only modding I do in Skyrim is like some stuff that's like, I guess, immersive you could say, that like adds on to like the world of Skyrim, but like not really changes like the content of Skyrim, I guess. So I like things like, there's like a big sound mod that like overhauls the sound of the game, adds like, you know, more bird noises and stuff, and you know, graphical mods that like update the graphics of the game, and then like mods that like add lampposts around the world, stuff like that. I hope after so long they really make the Elder Scrolls 6 the best game it can be. Need to.
Courage is our greatest weapon.
I just want every single game that releases to be like the best possible version of that game that could ever exist. And I want like every game that releases to be like successful, but that's not the reality with like how financials and like game companies that are like public and like so on and so forth are. I've tried to mod it a few times, not as simple to mod as other games. Oh really? Way back in the day, I used to mod Skyrim manually, which is not the best idea because it can really mess up your saves by like manually adding the files into like your game files and stuff. But then I started using is that Mod Organizer 2, I think, which I haven't had too many issues with. The like biggest difficulty is like mods that conflict with each other, but I think for the most part like Mod Organizer 2 does a good job at like telling you if that's happening / allowing you to like revert that without messing up your game files at all. Yeah, I was trying to manually mod. Yeah, I think for at least a game like Skyrim, I like modded Stardew Valley a little bit, and I've had no issues like manually modding it. But for like a game like Skyrim, where like all of the mods kind of like go into the same folder together, you definitely want to use like a mod organizer, like Mod Organizer 2, or there's like other ones I think, in order to mod that game. Yeah, I don't think I've modded too many games. I modded Skyrim because it's super popular, and I've done a little bit of modding in Stardew, like I've said. And then I guess I used add-ons, which are kind of mods for like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2. And beyond that, I haven't done too much modding in general, because like I said, I kind of just like playing the authentic experience of the game. Where I beat Skyrim like 3 times all the way through before I even started modding. Have you played with the Skyrim Together mod? I have not. I've like seen like updates for it over the years, and it seems to be pretty cool. I think it's like you can play up to 8 players now or something. I'm not entirely sure, but that's really cool. I think the concept of like single player games being turned into multiplayer games is like definitely like very interesting, because the game's like not originally designed for it, but it can be like a really fun experience as well. Like I know there's like a Morrowind Together mod or something that's like pretty popular, and like some friends of mine have like played that mod together, and like they've enjoyed it quite a bit. So like that's good for them. I modded Minecraft. Oh, I forgot about Minecraft. I modded Minecraft, which was made super simple with CursedForge, and I've modded a game called Rounds a bunch. I see. I played mod packs for Minecraft, so I've like never really modded Minecraft itself. I messed around a little bit with like resource packs for like changing like the graphics, I guess. You know, we got like texture packs. I've done a little bit of that. But like the only mod packs I really did was like the old TechEd launcher. So you have like the TechEd mod pack, which is like the namesake of the launcher, which is like the whole, I don't know if you know it, but like adding in like, I don't know, what is it, engineering, I guess, and like different machines and like mechanical like mods to Minecraft. So that was like a really popular mod pack like way back in the day, and I enjoyed that a little bit. And then there was like other mod packs as well. Like there was one that was like you can like pick like a Dungeons and Dragon race, like halflings or dwarves or elves or whatever, and then you could pick like a class, and then there was like randomly generated like dungeons around the world that you could play, and I thought that was like super fun. I enjoy making custom mod packs. It takes a lot more time, but you get much more control of the experience. Definitely. I know a lot of people, like going back to Skyrim, like to follow like mod lists or whatever. That people are like, this is the best Skyrim experience you can ever have. But I think it's definitely fun for me to just like browse through all the different Skyrim mods and kind of pick what I want. I haven't really done that for Minecraft before though.
That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready. Can't do that yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready. Can't do that yet.
Where am I? 70% of the way to 78. Can maybe hit 78 soon.
Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet.
I think I'm like halfway done with this question. Maybe we can go check out a couple of the other questions on the way back. Just fly around the map a little.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Wait, can I get crystallized energy from the elves? If a game uses a Steam Workshop as its mod platform, that's even better. Yeah, I know. I really like the Steam integration of Workshop, the Workshop for mods. I think when it comes to like Skyrim, I really like prefer like the Nexus, and I don't have like too many issues like just downloading mods and then putting them into Skyrim through Mod Organizer too. But like there's something very nice about just being able to, yeah, super easy to mod the game through the Workshop. to just like click download on the mod and then it puts it into the game. I'm excited for the workshop to come to Stardew Valley so I can mod the game through that way. Because like updating mods manually, which I've done, is not fun. Or if I used a mod organizer, it would probably be better, but alas, here I am. Oh, and oh, my inventory is full for the first time in a long time. I have to go to a merchant. I play City Skylines and the developers are removing workshop support for the sequel, which makes no sense to me. Really? Why would they do that? I heard some negative things about the performance of City Skylines 2, where like apparently the game doesn't run well, and I heard like a rumor that the developers like designed the game around like 30 FPS in mind, which I know a lot of people do not enjoy that.
I'm out of range. It's too far away.
They want players to use their own mod platform, which makes sense, but it's never going to be as easy as Steam Workshop. I feel like you should just use Steam. Like, we see that with like a lot of games. I feel like you could allow the option for both, where you can use like Steam or like your own thing. But I feel like, I feel like that's just better, because it allows people to like use what they want. Like if you don't want to use Steam, like, you know, you have that option, and if you want to use Steam, you have that option. I feel like you're just restricting players in a way, because like we see that with like, I mean, even games like with Blizzard games like World of Warcraft. You know, they didn't put their games on Steam because like they didn't want Steam to take that cut of purchases, but now we see them slowly adding Blizzard games to Steam, which is interesting. But like even when it comes to like workshop stuff, that makes like no sense to me, because like you don't really monetize the workshop unless they're trying to like add mods to like their own website, and then they're going to put like price tags behind like each of the mods, because like that's not something you can do with the Steam Workshop. And like that's something we see with like the, is it Creation Club for Fallout 4 and for Skyrim. Okay, this dude is blocking and parrying like half my attacks. What is that? I'm in a few Discord servers for City Skylines, and yeah, a lot of people are complaining about the sequel's performance. That's unlucky for them. I know the first game was like incredibly popular. I played it a tiny bit, but I don't think it's really like the type of game I enjoy that much. I know my fiance really liked City Skyline when she played it, but I don't think she got like super into it. Makes your PC crap itself. That's never good. Is there an Explorer Crystal Song Forest? I think there is actually. Guess we could explore this a little. Just get this achievement, even though I'm never going to play this character again after I reach level 80. Yeah, City Skylines is quite hard to get into. If you want to build a big, well-functioning city, you genuinely need real-life city planning knowledge. I see. That's really cool on one hand. I like when simulator games are very... what's the word, I guess? Authentic to real experience. Like I know Microsoft Flight Simulator, like it's obviously not flying a plane, but it's like kind of similar, and like the controls you have to like press to like take the plane off the ground or whatever. I don't know. I've never played the game or piloted a plane before. That's just what I've heard people say. I'm dead. I think I like the idea of like building like a big city and just like throwing a bunch of stuff down on the ground. But I'm not a big like sim person, or a tycoon person, I guess. I'm not sure what the technical genre is for that game. So like I don't really enjoy like that management gameplay too much. I like the creativity. Oh my god, I'm gonna die again. Of like being able to like build the cities and stuff. I like seeing videos of like people's time lapses of like cities and like the crazy things they build sometimes. Like I love the fact that Skylines goes that deep into traffic simulation, but it does make it really hard to get into. Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing on like one hand, to have like a very, deep game that has like a lot of like things to learn, and like a lot of gameplay elements, and like it's a game that you can really dive deep into. Simple games are good for people who want to have a simple game to play, a simple experience, a straightforward experience. And then it's good to have games that are much more complex for people who want the opposite. Do you watch City Planner Plays? He makes some really beautiful cities. He's who inspired me to actually learn the things required to make good cities. I have not seen them, but I'm going to... how do you copy paste on this? Do I have to go into here? Here we go. I'm gonna copy paste that and send it to myself. And I'll check him out. Thank you for the recommendation. That sounds cool. I always like seeing people being creative, especially in like games that I don't know too much about, because it seems more impressive, Okay, 2 more pieces for this, and then let's go back to Delaire, I think. Clean my inventory. Savory snow plum. It's starting to get late. I think I'm getting a little sleepy. Been playing 2.5 hours now. Plus, I played some games all day, so take a chill day too. Honestly, if you ever do decide you want to play City Skyline again, I recommend learning road hierarchy. Having a good grasp of proper road hierarchy is, I'd say, the most important city planning thing to know. I see. I think when I played, I was kind of confused about like the resources or whatever in the game, because there's like energy, and then you need like energy plants to be able to like
Ability isn't ready yet.
build more things around your city. Which like, if I played the game for like another hour and like try to figure it out, it would have been fine. But I know I was a little confused about that when I played. There's also water as well, I think. So you need whatever buildings you need to make in order to have good water supply for your city. Which, you know, it's like real life as well. And of course you have to expand more based off your population.
Not ready yet. You can't do that yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet.
Hardest part of the game is traffic management. I see. I don't think I ever got far enough into like a playthrough. I think I only played like probably like half an hour to an hour because it was like a free weekend on Steam or whatever.
That ability isn't ready yet.
But I never got far enough to really
Can't do that yet.
deal with traffic, I guess.
Not ready yet.
Didn't have an opportunity to learn a lot about traffic management.
Isn't ready yet.
I know like the entrances to your city are like really important for traffic management because I see like a lot of people talking about like different layouts for like the major intersection in your city to get to like different parts of your city. And I see some people build very complex and wild and crazy things. When you reach about 50,000 people, your roads will just be overloaded and your city will completely fall apart. That's when most people quit the game, which is sad to see. Yeah, definitely sad to see. Is there like a maximum limit to like a city, or could it like theoretically grow forever? Or is it just like how much you can fit into like the space that's provided to you in the map? If you had like an unlimited map, could grow your city to be 100 billion people.
I can't do that yet.
I feel like that would be way too hard to manage though. Like every building would just burn down. Well, your map is limited, but yeah, you can grow absolutely massive populations. I see.
Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not enough rage. I need a target.
Yeti milk. Okay. I really just need one more drop from these dryads and then I can move
That
on.
ability isn't ready yet.
It's kind of like the epitome of classic World of Warcraft. You need to get like 4 zebra hooves, but you have to kill 600 zebras in order to find the 4. It's a bit of an exaggeration, but you see people use that example a lot.
Need more rage.
Only limiting factor is how good you are at city planning and the map size. I see. I like never got super into games like Cities Skyline. Like I think like what's the game called? Let me open Steam. I'm scrolling my Steam library. I played it for like a couple hours. Oh, Planet Coaster, which is like a theme park tycoon game. I think it's like kind of similar gameplay to City Skyline, but like different. But like I played that a bit, and I never got like super into that game as well. It's another like management game. I play Planet Coaster too. I watched a YouTuber that I used to like a lot that I don't watch too much anymore, like play that game a ton, and I absolutely love that Let's Play series. And then like I picked it up and played it a bit, and I'm like, eh. But I really like the I really like building custom roller coasters. Yeah, I was about to say I really like just like being able to build like a theme park and be like super creative with it, and being able to like make your own layout and then make like custom roller coasters and like just piece everything together and like build like a really cool like theme park. Like that's what I like about Minecraft. It's just like building a lot. It's like that game. But I don't like the management aspect of the game too much, like that type of gameplay.
Farewell. Hello.
Is this better? Haste rating 60 critical. I don't think it's better. Okay. Is this better? Nope. Okay. And then I think I want to keep that, sell that, throw that over there, sell that, keep that, sell that, keep this, I guess, and sell that. Okay.
Have a good one.
There you go. Inventory clean. Honestly, the management isn't that bad for me. I like getting super deep into detailing my parks, and with such a big space that it just becomes too much. I see. Yeah, I just haven't gotten like super into the game. So like, in general, I just haven't played too much. It's in my backlog. One day, I will play it a lot. Let's take this flight to the airship. And when that day comes, I'll complete the game or whatever. I just have other games I'm currently playing right now. Yeah, I have a wide variety of like different games in like my Steam library from like a wide variety of different genres. And like I think since I've been playing games for so long now, I kind of like learned what genres of games I like really like a lot and like don't like. So like I'm not like a big MOBA person. But I used to not be like a super big RTS person, but I think I'm getting like more and more into like the RTS genre. Do you post these streams as VODs? They're automatically uploaded as VODs. So on like my main YouTube channel, like when you click on my profile, it has like my homepage. And then like at the top, it says home or whatever. And then there's a lot of different tabs. So there's videos and then shorts and then lives. So then YouTube automatically saves all my live streams as lives. So then you can watch the VOD. And then it's like pushed into the YouTube algorithm as well. So after I'm done streaming, the VOD of this will be recommended to people to watch. Just found out there's a whole live tab. Yeah, my first YouTube stream was a few months ago, and there's been a lot of streams since then, so there's a bit of a backlog there. Plus, all my shorts are saved, all my videos are saved, all my playlists and stuff. That's what I like about YouTube, is that like everything's saved into like one place. What is this? Where it starts? Oh, Ocular. Okay. And then turn this one in, and then let's go back to the Argent Vanguard, I think it is. The stone that started a revolution. I think your 100 Minecraft build series deserves more views. I find it to be a really fun idea. Thank you, thank you. Is that how you found my channel? I think a lot of people... I think like my biggest source of traffic is that live series. But it's definitely like not a lot of views compared to like a lot of other people's shorts. But I just enjoy making videos and posting them. And then if people watch them, that's great. I've had a few videos go like pretty far into like the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, with this channel, I kind of just do whatever I want, what games I'm currently interested in playing. So like today there's a lot of World of Warcraft Classic stuff announced, so I think I'm going to be playing a lot more World of Warcraft Classic on my channel in the immediate future. But you know, I consistently enjoy Minecraft, so I relatively consistently upload like Minecraft shorts and whatnot. Just play for fun. I have another channel that I'm working on that I'll reveal at some point, where I'm trying to be like a bit more serious about it, but it's just starting off, so get a little bit of a backlog, get all the art made for it and stuff, and then I'll share it with others. But yeah, this channel is just me messing around for the most part. And then when a video gets pulled into the algorithm, it's always fun, because it's fun when people watch your videos, I guess. Yeah, I think my most popular video is 18,000 views, and my most popular short is 10,000 views. But I also post all my shorts to Instagram Reels and to TikTok as well. And one of my TikToks got like 65,000 views, so I think that's technically my most viewed video on social media, so that's cool. Wish you the best of luck with that channel. Thank you, thank you. I've been having fun with it so far. But I'm definitely like really challenging myself to like improve my video making skills. So I'm putting like a lot of time, I guess, into each video, so I can learn more. 18,000 views on a video is pretty good. It is, I think it's probably I would say either, as far as like my social media presence goes, I'm either most well known for that individual video, or my Minecraft 100 build series. Not that I'm well known, like I'm a really small channel, but when it comes to like the very small amount of notoriety that I have amongst other individuals, I think those are like the two sources.
I'm out of range. Not ready.
Oh, that was stun. I've tried making YouTube videos before. I mainly ended up making super short, short, super edited videos, but they ended up being more successful on Reddit. I see. Yeah, Reddit's a great website on the voice crack there for like boosting videos and stuff. Where, I mean, especially with like embedding videos on Reddit, you can definitely get like a lot of views and stuff. But I know like just like posting your videos, if you do it like correctly and properly and like respectfully based off like a subreddit's rules, you can really like boost your videos algorithms, or boost your videos views on Reddit. But then there's also like an issue with that as well, where maybe you'll get a lot of views but your watch time will be lower, which could like harm your video when it comes to like the YouTube algorithm. But overall, I just really enjoy like making videos. Like I make all these gaming videos like mostly for fun, and it's just like a hobby that I picked up. Try to learn new skills with video editing and stuff. Maybe it'll take me somewhere someday.
That ability isn't ready yet. Not ready yet.
Oh shoot.
I can't do that yet.
I also enjoy streaming quite a bit. It's fun to just hang out and chat and stuff. But I feel like I'm not as good at it as I am with making videos. Yeah, he came out of nowhere. He just wandered up to me. He's like, okay, I'm gonna fight you now. I'm like, okay, I'll fight you too. Happy birthday. Thank you, Erica. Hello, Erica. I hope you're doing well. Virtual hug emoji. Virtual hug back to you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the birthday wish. Even though it is... I'm not going to say it. Thank you for the birthday wish. How is eye life going?
Can't do that. That ability isn't ready.
You have fun manipulating people's eyelids. Busy.
That ability isn't ready yet.
The slit lamp. Is that the thing you were talking about earlier? Or is that something that... I do not remember what you're talking about.
Can't do that yet.
I think now is a very opportunistic time for streaming. Twitch is slowly dying, and with the new platforms growing, new streamers can more easily find success. Yeah, I really like how YouTube does things for the most part. Where I've streamed on Twitch as well, but I just like having my streams in like the same places like my videos and shorts. And like, I think there's a lot of issues with YouTube streaming when it comes, I guess, to growth specifically, because I think it's difficult for a lot of people to find like streamers, or like the primary way you'd find a streamer would be, I guess, the way you found it or found me was like you watch like someone's video or like short or whatever, and then you subscribe, and then you see them pop up in your recommended or in your subscription feed or whatever. Or like the small chance that your stream is like in the algorithm for someone to click on. And then other than that, there's like the live streaming like tabs that I personally don't even know how to get to, I guess, where you can find like different live streams. But they really need to expand like that tab, I think, specifically, if they want like a lot of people to come over. Yeah, the microscope, I see. Yeah, well, there's always the option to stream on both platforms at the same time to get the best of both worlds. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that, and I might start doing that soon. But I'm not entirely sure, because I'm partnered with YouTube, or so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that since I'm partnered, so
That ability isn't ready yet.
we'll see. I have to find that out. This guy decided he wanted to walk this way. Accidentally clicked send too early. I see.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to stream on like YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and then stream on TikTok as well. Wish maybe I'll do that one day, but
I can't do
I have to do the face reveal first.
that. Ability isn't ready yet. Not ready. I can't do that. That ability isn't ready yet.
I'm just struggle busting right now. I've not gotten out of combat,
Far away.
and I just have a lag spike. So I'm dead here, and I got the quest. Okay, that's fine. TikTok is streaming. Yeah, there's TikTok Live, and I think it works like any other streaming platforms. So you just like connect your OBS to your stream key for TikTok or whatever, and that allows you to stream on the platform. Yeah, I don't use TikTok too much, but yeah, they added lives a long time ago, I think. Seems like the opposite of the content type which the platform is meant for. I think the most successful lives, I'm not sure the best way to explain this, but like kind of dives into like the type of content that TikTok is, but I guess more you know, live and like long form. Or like I see a lot of lives are like based around the idea of like something that could happen. So then a lot of people are like consistently live on the platform, streaming like this thing might happen. You know, for example, like I'm gonna dump this bucket of water on my head, for example, and then they're always like talking about like, you know, dumping a bucket of water on their head, and they're always like picking up like the bucket of water and like always putting it like over their head, but like they never do it. And then they're like consistently making like TikToks and being like, I'm going to dump this bucket of water on my head in 3 minutes if you join my live. And like really feed into like that concept, like lying to people, I guess. And then like they're like, you know, donate and I might dump the bucket of water on my head, so then people get the money. So like there's a financial incentive for people. Yeah, I don't think I've really enjoyed any TikTok live I've seen. I mean, a lot of TikTok videos in general. I think like for like what I enjoy, like aren't that great. But like, I think I've been on TikTok long enough now that like the algorithm, the famous TikTok algorithm, has like really learned like what I enjoy. So it's like a much more enjoyable experience now. The weirdest type of content succeeds on TikTok, definitely. It's always interesting to see, like, because I upload like my shorts, like primarily to YouTube Shorts, and then I also upload them to Reels, and then to TikTok. And it's always interesting to see like which short does better on like which platform, and like I have no reason or understanding of like why one does better on the other. It's like completely random, and I think it probably mostly comes down to like the RNG chance of like that specific piece of content being pushed in the specific algorithm that you upload that content to. So like if you upload to more places, you have a higher chance for like one of those places to happen, to pop off. Okay, I need one more Underkeen. Not Underkeen, High Priest. One there, okay.
I can't do that yet. Need more range. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet.
How many emblems of heroism? 11? I think I need 40 for an heirloom. I want to get maybe, what do I want? Get 3 heirlooms maybe for my upcoming druid playthrough when Cataclysm releases. I'll just do a lot of Icecrown stuff, I guess. Stick around in this map. I got disconnected from the game. Okay, I think we're fine. I think that's a random DC. I'm still streaming. My Wi-Fi is still here. And it's letting me log back in. Okay. Yeah, I think the server just had a little bit of a crash for a moment.
We know much about sacrifice.
And now the air stands still. Everything seems to still be working, yeah. I think everything's fine. Just a random hiccup. In the game specifically. I think there's 2 quests left for this quest chain, and then we move on to the next one. So, I guess let's do this one first. I need to use the horn first, right? This quest is always a little boring. Let's kill the high priest first.
I need to get closer. Not ready.
Oh yeah, I should pull it out. Okay.
I can't do that yet. Not ready yet.
Do you have any predictions for stuff that might happen in the Elder Scrolls lore-wise? I mean, honestly, nothing like super deep. I'm kind of on the train that it's gonna be the Iliac Bay. So we'll see Hammerfall and we'll see High Rock as like kind of like 2 provinces in one, and we'll focus a lot on like the geopolitics of that region. And then I think like one of the main themes is going to be like a focus on like the continuation of like the Thalmor versus the oh shit, the Thalmor versus the Empire storyline, which, you know, we might see more Thalmor messing around with like, you know, the Empire, and then maybe like the provinces of High Rock and Hammerfall. But when it comes to like a main storyline, it could be literally anything, I guess. Like Morrowind focused a lot on Dagothr, and then Oblivion focused a lot on Maroon's Dagon, and then Skyrim was about dragons. So those are like pretty different pieces of lore, and I don't know how much like we knew about like Dagothr before like Morrowind released, so it could be like something completely brand new to the game, like new lore added into the world, or it could take from literally any piece of lore currently in the game. I don't think I have any really solid set prediction other than it being located around the Iliac Bay and then it having a focus on the Thalmor. But I'm not sure if the Thalmor will ever be addressed as like a main point in like an Elder Scrolls game. It might just be something that's kind of like going on. But there could definitely be like maybe Elder Scrolls 6. But there could definitely be a game that really focuses on like the Thalmor versus the Empire. And I think like long-term wise, if we're looking like 50 years down the line, I think it would be cool if we got like Elder Scrolls 6 that focuses on like Hammerfall and like High Rock, and then we had like 2 more Elder Scrolls, like 7 and 8, that like focuses on like the Black Marsh, Southern Morrowind, and then Valenwood, and then the Somerset Isles. So we get like 3 games that kind of covers like the rest of the continent of like Tamriel, and then we have like a 9th game that kind of returns to like the origins of the franchise with like Arena, where it's like probably like it would be like one of the biggest games ever released, but like really focuses on like the entire world of Tamriel, and that's when they dive deep into like a Thalmor storyline where it could be like the Empire versus the Thalmor like all across Tamriel and like every single province. and it's just like a massive war that, like, you know, the technology 50, 60 years from now would be able to do. I'd be playing Elder Scrolls 9 in an old folks home. If they made some content / quest about Gigalag, how do you pronounce that? That'd be fun. I think that would be fun as well. Yeah, there's just so much they could dive into. Like, they focused on like Maroon's Dagon for like Oblivion, and then they did Molag Bal for like the original release of the Elder Scrolls Online. And then like every single like, or starting with like Morrowind and then with Oblivion and then with Skyrim, we see like each Daedric Prince have like one of two like DLCs that like really focus on them. So it was like Hircine in Morrowind, and then it was Jigalag, and then Shilgorath in Oblivion, and then we had Hermaeus Mora in Skyrim. So there's always, you know, it's a safe bet we'll interact with at least one prince in like a DLC for the Elder Scrolls 6. But when it comes to like the mainline game, it could always be, you know, about one of the Daedric Princes. That would be super cool, participating in a huge war in between the Empire and the Thalmor, and if you could choose between the sides and have an effect on who wins, it'd be insane. Yeah, I think Bethesda could really do a lot with like the Elder Scrolls to make it like absolutely groundbreaking and like one of the biggest game releases of like a generation. It just depends on like how much effort the company wants to put into that individual game, and like what they think like the cost effectiveness of producing a game on that scale would be, and like how much they think they would get back from it, and then like pleasing investors and like ZeniMax and Xbox and Microsoft and whatnot. So much potential. So much potential. But I think when it comes to like the Elder Scrolls franchise, I think one of the sadder parts about it is like there's a good possibility that like, you know, I will never be able to experience like the full story. I was thinking about that with like the Warcraft franchise, because it's turning like 30 years old soon, which is like older than I am. But like it's an incredibly successful franchise that like I don't see dying out anytime soon, and like it might last longer than I do. So like, you know, one day I die and like there'll still be Warcraft games being produced, so like I'll never be able to experience that full story. And then that's the same with like, you know, Halo. Well, maybe not Halo. Well, probably Halo. And then like with Elder Scrolls as well. That like these franchises might last a long time. But also, you know, the gaming industry and then like these franchises as well might be completely different in 30 years. Like maybe no one enjoys video games anymore in 2016. Yeah, with how long it takes them to even start making the Elder Scrolls 6, we might not live to see the conclusion. Yeah, if between Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls 6 is 15 years, and they do 15 years between every single release, when I'm 80, that'll be like the Elder Scrolls 8 or whatever. That's some math I don't want to do in my head right now. That's like a very simple math, but it's also 1220. I'd be 40 and then 55 and then 70. So I'd be 85 when Elder Scrolls 9 comes out.
No rest.
If they do one every 15 years. If people aren't playing video games in 2060, something drastic would have to happen. I mean, the world could always end at any point. People have been saying that for the entire existence of humanity. Kind of want to quote this. Okay, I think that's the end of that question. Oh wait, one more after this. Once we capture or build the tower, then we're done. Every single time there's a world conflict, people say it's the end of the road. Yeah. I fear sells when it comes to stuff like that. And like, there's always a chance that the road would end at any moment for like any particular reason. There's like countless things that could happen, but like the likelihood of any of them happening is slim. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna think about what's gonna come out with Elder Scrolls 6 until the road ends. Humanity's resilient enough to survive most things, but it's certainly possible. Yeah. I highly doubt, at least in my lifetime, that we'll see the end of humanity. I mean, one day, humanity will probably be extinct. Because I think every race at some point, or species, rather, will go extinct at some point over the course of the history of the universe. But in my lifetime, not something I have to worry about. Hopefully, at least. There's always our worst case scenario that we can be afraid of. But it's just something we have to deal with if it ever comes, and not really something we should worry about.
Before my terrible creations.
It's too far away.
I mean, if we were to survive to the death of the universe, I wonder if we'd have the technology to prevent it. Definitely something interesting to think about there. Like, I think about, like, our sun dying in, like, the very distant future, which seems closer than, like, the death of the universe. But, like, how, you know, if humanity still exists in, like, this, like, star system when, like, Sol is, like, destroyed or whatever, burnt out or whatever, how, like, if technology will have advanced to a point where either humanity can escape to, like, a different, like, solar system, or if they're able to, like, save the star through, like, technology that is invented in the far future. We're like, I think technology is like always expanding, and I think in recent history it's expanded like exponentially, and we don't know if like technology will. My stomach is growling for some reason. We don't know if technology will like always expand exponentially, but if you see like how far, you know, human technology has come in the last like 200 years, and then in the last like 20 years, like how far and how fast it will expand in like 200 years. In like 2,000 years, and then like however long it's going to take before the universe is destroyed, technology will have advanced so much to a point where like really we can't even predict what's possible, because technology will be at a point beyond what we can't even imagine. Imagine spaceship peanut jokes replacing regular airplane peanut jokes.
It's too far away.
I've always thought about how cool it would be to like be like in a spaceship and just like live there, but also like, you know, I really enjoy like the Earth, I guess, but then there's also like, you know, countless planets out there that are like as beautiful or more beautiful than the Earth, and, like, there's just like a lot of like potential opportunities for like people's lives in the future, for like colonizing different planets or living on like different spaceships or like doing whatever. But also, we're at a point in human history where like that's not going to be our lives. I think like the famous quote is like, born too late to explore the Earth, born too early to explore the universe. We're kind of just at a weird middle ground with humanity right now.
Something first.
We could go deeper into the ocean. A lot of people forget about just how amazing the Earth is. Yeah, definitely. I live in the United States, and there is like so many cool like geographical locations just like in this one country, even like just around me, and like that's true, and like most of the places around Earth. There's just so much cool stuff everywhere. The US has the most variety in geography out of any country in the world. Yeah, the United States is just massive, and I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of like Europeans don't realize, I mean a lot of Americans even, don't realize like how massive of a place the United States is. But there's like so many different like biomes and like different locations and like different natural phenomena and stuff. Like I live in the Pacific Northwest, which is a rainforest, and then we have deserts, and then we have swamplands, and we have massive mountain ranges like the Rockies, and then even in the Pacific Northwest we have like the Cascades and the Blue Mountains and the Coastal Range. There's just so much variety. We have the hottest place on Earth, Death Valley, and one of the coldest places, Barrow, Alaska. Yeah. Is Death Valley the hottest place? I know it's like super hot. I didn't realize it was like the hottest place on Earth. I'm from New York, and we have some incredible, beautiful scenery. Yeah. I've never visited New York, but I definitely like to explore. Like I've seen photos of like the forests in like upstate New York, and then there's also Niagara Falls, of course. Yeah, Death Valley has the hottest recorded temperature in the world. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Or I might have had known that at some point, but I forgot. Definitely cool. Definitely, well, not cool. The opposite of that. Definitely fascinating.
Put your faith in the light, and all is possible. End of the scourge draws near. Find the strength within you.
We need Flight Master, and then we have this quest.
Well met. Light bless you.
A lot of people don't know about the scenery here because all a lot of people think about is the city. Yeah, the state of New York is definitely dominated by New York City and popular culture. Which, like, New York City looks pretty cool from, like, a certain perspective of, like, human, you know, creation. But definitely very different compared to things, like, in upstate New York and, like, other places around America and the world that are natural beauties. There's a mountain range slash nature area here known as the, I'm not going to pronounce that, Adirondacks, and I'd heavily recommend visiting absolutely beautiful mountains. I know there's, is that part technically part of the, I forget the mountain range in the eastern United States, the Appalachians? Is it like part of that mountain range? Or is it like a distinct thing? Because I think like Blue Mountains are like part of the Cascades technically, but they're also like its own mountain range here in Oregon slash Idaho. Hold on, let me double check that I got that one mountain range right. Okay, I did. Good.
What can I do for you? Be careful. Go with honor, friend.
Broken
The Alliance.
front.
Go with honor,
I think this leads to the next quest chain I want to do. Hold on. Oh wait, exploiting an opening. This is the quest.
You need something.
Wait, I don't have access to it.
Tomorrow is another day. We will ravage this land.
Oh, they're not part of that range. They have different origins. I see.
What?
Yeah, if I ever find my way to New York, which might not be in the immediate future, but I'd definitely like to visit at some point. I would definitely interested in checking that out.
We are done.
My questy is lagging now. Oh, hello. There you are.
You need something?
Blood of the Chosen. Do I want
See you
that?
later.
Joining the Assault. Okay, I don't want either of those. I don't want that daily, I don't want that other one. So I just want this quest. And then I want the Broken Front quests. So, and then we got that quest chain. Okay, let's go do these quests. There's the 46 high peaks of that mountain range, which are really pretty. It's a significant achievement here to have hiked all of them. Some of them were pretty difficult climbs, so I've climbed 11. I think hiking is one of my favorite activities, so that sounds like something right up my alley. Well, hiking up mountains, you know, a little different. I went to Colorado for the first time this summer. Adirondacks. That name sounds familiar now that I say it like that.
What can I do?
But yeah, I went to Colorado for the first time this year, which I think the highest elevation I was at was 14,000 feet. But I stuck at an average of like camping for like a week at like 12,000 feet, which is like the highest I've ever been before. Or I'm not sure what my previous highest was before that trip, but like I go up to like 3,500 elevation all the time, going over like mountain ranges just here. Pronouncing words is not my strong suit. I have a difficult time doing that.
Need help? Or the Alliance? Light bless you. Be careful. What can I do for you? Go with honor, friend. Be careful. for the Alliance. Light bless you.
Leveled up to level 78, 2 levels away from max level. And then we can chat to Thessarian
Get
again.
on with it. Leave me be.
Poke and prod.
We are done here.
Okay. And then maybe I'll go start the Ocular questline really quickly, and then might call it good for this stream. It's starting to get late.
Pleased to meet you. Be seeing you off and away. Right. Daylight's burning.
I might go do some Broken Front quests off stream some other day. I guess let's run over here, Tail Valley. My grandma actually drew the cover art for a decently popular book series here called The Adirondack Kids. That's super cool. And I posted for a few pictures which she used to help draw the characters. That's super cool, actually. That's really cool. The Adirondack Kids. Always been a special place for me. Yeah, no doubt. It's always really cool to have like that type of connection to a place in the world. So we have this quest line here, which is a very iconic quest line. And then we have Argentine Regals, and then we have this. So yeah, I think I would just do the opening of the Ocular quest line, which opens up a ton of other quest lines in this map. And then go back to Delaran, I think. Oh, what's this? You're to be sold to a vendor. Aderthar, the Desolation Gate. And then, oh, those are the helicopter, or not helicopter, the airplane pads that have the mission or the battlefield there. Oh, I can see so far. Or is there mage leveling down there? Oh, level 80 mage. I wonder if that's a bot. Always suspicious of bots.
Not ready yet.
I think this is based off Lord of the Rings, like the movie, because this wasn't part of the book, but there's a giant eye at the top of the tower in Mordor. I think this is kind of like the same vibe.
I can't use that either.
World of Warcraft always loves to base things off other pieces of media and always throw in like pop culture references and stuff. Like that Lost reference in Shalazar Basin earlier.
I can't use that item.
Now, the question is, how many of these quests do I want to do?
Listen. For
There's quite a few. Maybe I'll just pick that up and then meander back this way. Because I think there's like a cool event that's kind of about to happen. Because I think the two gunships like fight each other a little bit. Going back to that concept of like the Horde and Alliance fighting each other, but also like working together. Blue Sauron, exactly. Blue Saren, that's actually not too far off, because like that quarry over there, they're farming Saren Knight, which is the blood congealed into like the earth from an old god called Yogg Saron, who's one of the bosses in this expansion, actually, from like a completely different storyline that goes on during this expansion. Which might be, well, he's a bit of a spoiler. He's dead now because he died in this expansion. But the aftermath of his death might be playing a part in upcoming modern WoW expansions. Okay, I think I'll go turn in a hero remains and then let's go back. I think this event might not be happening right now. I think it only happens later on. That reminds me of Lorcan from the Elder Scrolls lore. Yeah, I know. What is it? I know a little bit about that. There was like Lorcan, and then the one other person, and the two of them fought, and then like the other person became like a moon or something. I don't know. His heart is what the Heartstone is made of. I see. I see. Yeah, there's a lot of like very deep lore in this game. Like on a surface level, it's, you know, an orc hits a human with an axe, but then you get like really deep, and there's like void creatures from another realm of existence that are trying to like manipulate their way into like this plane of existence, and then they planted like old gods on different planets around the cosmos in order to like corrupt the planets. And then there's titans that are like huge ethereal beings that like try to like save this universe against the void creatures or whatever, but then one of the titans was like, oh, we gotta be more drastic against this, and he became like corrupted and like evil himself in his path to like take his own steps to counteract the void. Yeah, the planet itself is like a living entity, basically. It's like similar to, I don't know if you watch a lot of Marvel stuff, but similar to the, like, Titans are similar to the idea of Celestials from the Marvel comics / the MCU. Or there's that one Celestial that's like Earth, and it was like trying to be born so it would destroy Earth. It's like the same concept going on here.
Together can we succeed. Each of us.
Okay, I think all of this I'm just selling. This seems kind of nice though. Maybe I'll equip this. I think that's better. It looks cooler. The reddish spikes versus the blue basic helmet there. Or not blue, brown. All the planets and stars in the Elder Scrolls lore are actually the bodies of the gods who got trapped in the mortal realm. Oh, I see. I knew stuff like the two suns or whatever, and then like the one moon. I didn't realize it was all of them. I know like the stars in the sky are supposed to be like oblivion realms or whatever, or like other realms of existence, which is really interesting.
Have a good one.
But yeah, I think I'm going to sell all of this and then I might log off for the evening. So thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, watching me play World of Warcraft Classic, which is can sometimes be a bit of a boring game to watch, but I really enjoyed talking to you. So thank you for hanging out, and thank you to anyone else hanging out as well. It was a good stream and I had fun. But I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves, and I'll probably stream some WoW Classic again in the soon future. But I was wanting to finish up my current World of Warcraft Let's Play series, because there's Classic Plus releasing November 30th, I believe, and I want to make a Let's Play series about that. Yeah, I'm gonna head off to bed. So have a good night, everyone. /brave. Good night. Yeah, if you're in New York, it's like 4 a.m. So good night. Have a good evening.